Money.
have monetary gain. I'm afraid we are monetized. I have no idea what you were talking about. I was paying attention to what I was doing. But anyway, hey chat, how you doing? We're crossing over with it's column.
Hi everyone.
Crossing piss streams.
Hello.
Oh no. We are crossing streams, to be fair. Okay, Jeb. So, hey, folks, it is Connor. Dear Lord, my brain right now. It is Callum's birthday. Say happy birthday to him in chat, people. Yay.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Callum.
Hey.
Happy funeral day.
Good one, Tim. That's funny. Whew, that's witty. That's one that oh man, good one.
Happy coming out your mum's vagina day.
That isn't witty either, but at least it's accurate, so.
I was talking about it earlier, so you know.
Happy birthday, you breath 1 year closer to death.
I'm stroking a pussy.
Okay.
It's called my cat.
I know, Jeb. We got
notice how chill the stream was before all these fuckers came in?
It's what happens when it's, you know, ECUM. That's just how... if Jeb wasn't here, everything would go nice. Zod isn't here because it's Zod, I guess. I don't know. He just disappeared.
Hang on. You said it's funeral day to Editron, you spack.
Yeah, but I didn't inhale my mic or say that I'm stroking a pussy.
Yeah, I mean, Tin has a point. I'm sorry, but she's right.
It's like on the scale of chaotic, I'm on the lower end.
Yeah.
I'm stroking a cat. It's not my fault.
Okay, Jeb.
Sure.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, I sent the Watch Together link. I'm not sure if you guys saw it because only one person has joined.
I have it. Okay.
Guess who the person is, Sky?
Oh, well, it's you. Ten Hag is a cunt. Go Ronaldo. It is definitely you. Plus, I saw your messages in the Watch Together chat. Slow. ATOS. F. Autism. Sonic Go Room. Licky Wiki. At Spixru. Spixy. Spix. Skyru. Spixiru. Hello, are you there? Sky Spix. No, Sky Spix. Fair. So yeah, that seems like you, but I don't know. Could be anyone.
What does Spix sound like a naughty word?
It is. It's a slur.
Who the fuck is Ncuti Gatwa? I don't need to ask that, but who is it?
Who's Ncuti Gatwa? Oh,
Ncuti Gatwa.
Gatwa. Okay, I was very confused. Like, what? Why is Jeb asking this actor? He knows. But no, okay. I get it.
It's based on a joke where Sky was about, I want a shooty cat, and I said, shooty cat. Ncuti Gatwa.
Yeah, that was the best joke Tin has ever made, so she's gonna write it out for the rest of her life.
Whoa.
But, there's only 4 people here. I assume the person missing is Connor.
What? It's Zoddy. Zoddy McZoddy is missing.
What do you mean? There are 4 people with the fucking Watch Together. And you're the only one who I can't identify.
Oh, sorry.
Dumble.
What are we watching?
We are watching Harble Holmes. Do you like that channel?
The person who always has great takes on everything on Twitter.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, so...
Hello, my second
guys.
pussy.
Okay, Jeff.
Guys, how outrageous is it that there's a white blonde companion on my Doctor Who? Oh,
it was funny how Mike Tree making fun of him made some rounds on Twitter because everyone was like, "Yeah, this is stupid."
Well, what do we reckon was the worst take? This one or the one that was like, "Nah, one for the dads."
Oh
one
yeah,
for the dads.
One for the dads
one for the
worse.
dads is worse because
that's like
worse
predatory.
because it's a bit more gross.
Yeah,
so
it's very gross.
It was 17 in that photo.
She has just turned 18. And the implication of. Yeah, we got her because she's attractive, which she is, but like it wasn't a great tweet.
Not a great to hear. Like a middle-aged dude say that about her.
I endorse that tweet. I really endorse that.
Jeb, sharp.
We're not going to be monetized any longer.
You keep saying that. We got past the review, Jeb.
So saying that, but you've been saying slurs for over 2 years now, and
yeah,
somehow not.
Here we are, yeah. So At any rate,
I mean, if Elon Musk buys YouTube, you probably get more money for saying slurs.
well, I mean, that's if not every advertiser leaves YouTube like they did with Twitter. But that's beside the point. Anyway, what I wanted to say, this video that we were gonna watch, Tin found it, and she's the only one that knows anything about it. As far as I know, I'm not sure if Connor watched it, but yeah.
God, no. No, I did not watch it.
It was not good at all. It was genuinely like, what the fuck are you talking about, eh?
And Jeb is playing with his microphone.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, I've heard not good things about this video, and Harbo, not to hold anything against them. I don't think they're like a bad person.
Retard,
they're just. I've not seen the best takes coming from Harbo, so that's.
I will say their videos on the waters of Mars and the God Complex are very, very good. But it's also, at the same time, it's not hard to lick the arse of 2 episodes that just spoon feed you all the reasons why to like it.
That is true. But yeah, apparently Zod is abandoning us today, and because of that, I guess we're just ready to start with the video. I
have 2 cats.
Okay, Jeb. So
I have 1.
I have 3.
They made an appearance on the stream.
Somewhere.
So anyway.
And before this video begins, I would just like to tell you that I have a PO box until early December. So if you want to send me any like fan mail or like jokey things for me to open in Patreon videos, or if I get enough in an actual video on the main channel, just send it to this address. And yeah,
I like
just thought I'd let you know. Anyway, on with the video.
Nice.
I'd like to give a special shout out to
Dear Lord, can you start the video? Goddamn.
As Bantium level patron.
Usually people do this at the end of the video, but whatever.
Yeah,
Cortez.
Yeah, they always do.
Ah, that's loud.
So, an era of Doctor Who has ended, meaning the next
Yay!
year will be full of rampant speculation, discussion, and teasers of the new era to come.
I love that logo so much. It just looks so good.
That logo is so good. That's such a good fucking logo.
Yeah, it's looking
great.
It's too stuck in the past.
Of course.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same logo as the 70s. Not like they haven't ever done that before. Just like how they reused the Pertwee logo in 1996, or just like how they did 2 surfboards, or how like they did like 2 of the neon logo. It's just like, oh, of course they've repeated logos before.
Yeah,
and it's not like it's for Diamond Anniversary, and it's a Diamond logo, which is a classic logo.
It's not also like it's an updated version.
It's also not like it's actually like the original is also a brilliant logo, so why wouldn't you want to use it again?
I mean, it's just, and for me, it's just quite simple. It's like a logo for the 60th, which is celebrating the just shows past. So obviously, yeah, you can't have a logo that
no, don't celebrate the past. That's fan wank, Sky.
Of course, I would never want an anniversary special of Doctor Who to celebrate the past. It's not like we just got out of an episode that just did that. Whatever.
Isn't it funny? We got people going, RTD is going too much in the past, and then you also have people going, RTD's very indulgent of his own era.
Yeah, it's weird. It's also like he's not stuck in the past. His first series was very much just like, you didn't need to watch the classic series at all to understand any of it. It reintroduced the Daleks. It didn't, like, I've never seen most of classic. I've only seen a couple episodes of Classic Who, and I completely get the point of the Daleks and how they work from the Dalek episode in series 1.
Like, the thing with like New Who, I guess, is like it took a while to sort of embrace Classic Who, I guess. Like, there's like a few things, but it took like a while for it to really embrace its full history. So like now that it's like almost 20 years later, they can just fully embrace it with the 60th.
Yeah,
that's at least
I mean, something like School Reunion works better if you've seen Classic Who, but you don't have to have watched it to understand what's happening.
Yeah,
like it stands on its own 2 legs, but it works a lot better if you know the history and all that.
Yeah, because you get multiple points of view if you know the history.
I just realised I tweeted out we're about to starting the ECUM crossover.
Oh no. Minor spelling mistake.
No. Spelling mistake.
For some reason, I can't change the region in the Discord call. Colin, maybe you can if you can put it to Rotterdam, because Tin and Jeb are fucking cutting out.
What do you want to change it to?
Rotterdam.
What do you want to change it to?
I'm trying to change it to Rotterdam as well. It's not letting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not letting me.
Well, that's fun. It's not letting anyone. I thought he would let you. Oh, now it's in Rotterdam. Okay.
There we go. It's changed. There we go.
Yeah, I changed it to Hong Kong, which allowed it to change to Rotterdam.
I love how Discord glitches like that. That's actually something that's happened before. I should have thought of that. But anyway.
Well, so we did a bloody, what's it called? Like one of those, plane flights. We have to go to a different country first.
Connection, yes.
You're welcome for me fixing the issue.
Alright, so anyway.
This is always common between periods of the show, because it feels like possibilities are endless and anything can happen. But this time, Doctor Who is in the curious position of a former...
For some reason, it made me think of Jackie Tyler saying, well, anything could happen.
No. Weirdly, I don't think it fits in this context, but...
Well,
that's such a funny joke. I love that so much. The pacing of it is great. Just like, there's a strange man in my room. Yes, there is. I love it.
There is.
9 was so good, man. I miss Eccleston.
Eccleston's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, chat. I forgot to mention we have a membership turned on in the channel. So if you want to give us money, you can. Isn't that fun?
He's great. He's great on TV. I'll say that.
You can come to my chat, guys. Right?
No,
right?
Come to ours and give us money. You're gonna hear what Callum says, but you give us money. So.
Yeah, capitalism.
Exactly.
Former showrunner returning and taking over once again. And whilst this is understandably being celebrated and eagerly anticipated by fans,
I love the Ncuti look. I love the Ncuti look with the mustache. She just looks so good.
I can't wait. Yep. I can't wait. I have to wait we literally have to wait a year and 3 days.
Oh yeah, we're 3 days away from the Doctor Who anniversary. That's true. We're probably gonna get some news, I imagine.
I think a lot of people are getting ahead of themselves and forgetting about some of the clear pitfalls and red flags that seem to be cropping up around this news.
Disney Plus isn't a red flag. Disney are just distributing it. They don't really have a say in what happens in the show. The full control is for
seemingly. If I do trust Russell, if that's all it is, I'm totally fine with it just being the place where it goes. The rest of the world.
And also, let's not forget, like, in terms of distribution, Disney's actually really good at that stuff.
Oh yeah.
They're actually. That's actually something.
It is just a shame that Disney are Disney. That is the problem. It's just a shame that Disney are a really shitty company.
Yeah, I know, but in terms of distribution, like distributing things and advertising and marketing it, they're actually pretty good at that stuff. Yeah. And I don't know why.
I don't know if you know, but like Disney's their last tweets, the Doctor Who ones are the most popular among like.
They've been doing on the Disney Plus. Account.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so whether Harbour likes it or not, it's going to be a massive show when it comes on Disney Plus.
It's also
it's gonna
It's also like let's address this. Let's say we're going to distribute Doctor Who globally. You have to go streaming first off because that's what most people are on. So you break down the options. Netflix, well, that's losing subscribers and it's struggling a fair amount, and it's already distributed the show and we've seen it ceiling. Amazon Prime, well, Amazon's a lot like Disney anyway, but also less popular streaming service. So you go to Disney Plus, which is available globally, the fastest growing streaming service.
Well, the other one would be HBO Max, which they used to be the ones that distributed Doctor Who past few years. Which I was like, wait, why are they doing Disney as a push to HBO now? But then it makes sense considering how shitty HBO were doing after Zaslav. They're just completely annihilating HBO Max as a streaming service. So I don't know. For me, it makes sense.
It's like if you want to go to the ethics, that's fine. But if we go down the routes of an alternative, you're going to run into issues here, especially given if you said Amazon Prime and it's like Jeff Bezos.
I love who's on HBO Max minus Old Who and Power of the Doctor. Depending on where you live, it is not for me in Brazil.
Also, I'd just like to point out there's a video somewhere of Russell T Davies bashing HBO Max, so that's probably not.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because of it's a similar during that time.
So that sort of thing. It was like when Loki came out. I know that RTD like shat all over how they handled the gay representation. So we know that he isn't like gonna fold to their sort of standards for how to present against LGBT stuff. So we,
God no, they will fall to him because he knows more about it than they do.
Yeah.
like, we at least know that he's likely not going to fold for creative decisions. So that's at least safe.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I feel like if there's someone that knows the TV landscape based on his writing and what he's gotten right, it's this guy.
Like of all people, we know that R2D wouldn't make this deal if he didn't know what he was doing.
Yep. I mean, overall, it is definitely a positive for the show. I think what was said in chat here, Disney Plus is much more of an issue way later on when we switch over showrunners. I agree with that. How that could be in terms of like a power grab in a way of Disney wanting to control the show more.
But again, you just have to have the discipline to replace Russell T Davies as someone who's just as vigilant and strong.
Yeah.
And plus, as far as I'm aware, like last time, Russell T Davies will probably recommend someone.
Yeah.
So it's more of an issue, especially when you consider as well the Bad Wolf co-production will likely end, but that's far in the future once they've got what they think can allow the show to sustain. So who knows?
Yeah, I hope if that does happen though, I do hope that Russell doesn't just recommend like someone who's written popular stories. I mean, obviously, because with Stephen Moffat, yes, he did write some good stories, but I think as a showrunner, he wasn't as good at handling that role as Russell was. He definitely got very on top of him, especially around sort of 2011 to 2013ish.
Yeah,
he got very overwhelmed because he was doing so many different things and having kids at the same time.
Yeah, and so doing Sherlock, I think, was the big thing that ruined a lot of Moffat's work, where he was trying to do very complicated shows.
He also did Tintin as well.
Oh yeah, he did.
He did do that.
I always forget that he wrote that.
Yeah, once we got to Series 7 is where it kind of got all really jumbled up.
Yeah.
So what I would wonder is if, I just wonder if Russell thinks about, right, that I'm going to try and recommend someone that is known for running shows rather than just writing popular episodes.
Yeah.
I'd also argue...
Mike Flanagan.
I was going to say...
I'd also argue there's another side to that. I would also want Russell to ensure BBC don't allow that thing to happen again, because a big part of Sherlock as well is BBC were really terrible at scheduling the two and kept having them clash.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the kind of thing where Russell knows how to deal with like network way better than Moffat and Chibnall did.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes after Russell. For the time being, I'm just glad we have him back.
I mean, as far as I can tell, Chris Chibnall's actually quite a well-liked showrunner when it comes to the actual professional side of things. I guess apart from his early years, but in terms of like the last sort of 10 to 12 to 15 years, maybe just up to that point, he's pretty well-liked when it comes to managing a show, managing people, that sort of thing. With the people that he's worked with, they all give him praise for his, making his shows feel like a family and feeling sort of, I guess, a joy to work on. He's got that. He had that with Broadchurch. He had that with his run on Doctor Who. He had that with Law and Order UK. He had that with one other thing too. I can't remember what it was.
He was like it with Torchwood as well.
Yeah, although the only thing I'd say about Torchwood is that apparently the Series 1 writer's room was in his garage, and that sounds a bit shifty, especially when you got Noel Clarke there. Oh dear.
Ah.
And yes, I can already hear the angry typing of fans telling me I'm being too critical and pessimistic. And yeah, I understand that, but this isn't some kind of blind rant. I'm simply concerned about the direction the show currently seems to be heading towards. So,
I mean, what direction is there? We don't know anything. like after the 60th, do we?
We don't know anything.
We know that
We know
there
anything
is a
about-
companion with the actress playing the companion. We know the doctor and the actor playing the doctor.
Yeah.
That's
We
it.
know
Isn't it?
that is the 15th Doctor.
What we know about it is mostly just superficial stuff. That's all we know.
That's the issue I'm having with, because that's all these critics boil down to. They see David Tennant back as the Doctor, like, oh, we're rehashing. I'm like, no, you can have.
Oh, it's an anniversary.
Yeah, and you can have a return Doctor told in a new way.
So because people will look at this and compare it to other things that are just superficial, but the problem is that superficial is the only thing we've been shown, but it hasn't aired yet.
I'd also argue to them as well, based on the trailer, even though how small it is, you could tell they're not just doing, hey, this personality is going to be just like Temp. It feels very much like David Tennant's playing a unique Doctor that's probably influenced by the previous Doctors.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think a lot of people have said. That was my first impression, right? As I saw that she regenerated into Tennant, and part of the Doctor was being like, so they're probably gonna do something to do with his vanity, as returning with the face, especially with Jodie saying in part of the Doctor, no, I need more time, you know, like we need more time, and I was like, so she didn't want to change. Tennant never wanted to change, never wanted to regenerate. Going back to Tennant, I wonder how you could do an episode where he has to learn to accept that change, to accept to being someone else after that. Which, going off of Jodie's regeneration, could work really well to explore like that vanity of the 10th Doctor, as well as just using an old face to tell an anniversary story. So I don't know.
I'd also love.
No, he's just a whiny crybaby.
I'd also love if it is an identity crisis, and the point of Donna being back is that 10th went through a phase of he just didn't know what to do in terms of being around people and such, and Donna kind of grounded him and made him find himself again.
Yeah.
So I think she's the perfect person to come back into his life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's something other people have said. Is just if it is like a trick from the toy maker or whatever, is that it could just be like
also,
that it's
the idea
his
of
best
the
friend.
The idea of the Doctor regenerating into a previous face, I think, is a really interesting idea. And I feel like the only reason it's getting as much criticisms as it is because it is David Tennant. Because he is the most, let's be honest,
I think it is because it's David Tennant and Russell T Davies returning together.
Yeah.
Where's Zod at? That's a good question. We also want to know.
I had someone from my work who watches the show say to me they thought it was lazy that they're bringing back David Tennant.
I don't get how is it lazy? You haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're just judging based on what they've seen. Like,
yeah, but it was lazy that Chibnall brought back all the Doctors in Power of the Doctor. There you go, lazy.
It annoys me because
no, because it's to do with the popularity aspect. It's meta. They say it's lazy because they know that David Tennant's popular, therefore they're making him the incumbent Doctor because it's popular. That's the reason why he thinks it's lazy.
It also annoys me because, again, if you do research into Rusty Davies, and it sounds like I'm saying these people don't research, but I feel like if you read this book, you understand his thought process. And like, for example, he deliberately wrote Donna to have emotional scenes because he knew what the narratives would be. So to think he isn't aware of how this seems and how we would avoid that is quite interesting.
Yeah, and I think the thing that annoys me is how like people are going after this when it's like we don't know anything. All we know is speculation. You can't say anything definitively. It's not like, like No Way Home, where we knew the entire film leaked beforehand, so we knew what we were criticizing. Or Rise of Skywalker, I think, is a better example, where the leaks were so fucking stupid that everyone made fun of them, right? But when we get to the film, it's like, oh, this is exactly like the leaks, only like shorter because they cut out a few scenes. but like we don't know anything about this. Like all we know is that David Tennant is back. We don't know how or why. And even in the comic, in the Doctor Who magazine, the entire like the first battle is it'd be like, this is my old body. How am I back in my old body? Like he's confused. This is clearly something that Russell seems to want to explore. It's just, I don't know. It feels really bad faith to go after something when you don't even know anything about it. Oh, Zod,
and then I guess there's that. Then I suppose there's that weird small pocket of fans that are just salty because they don't like David Tennant's Doctor and they're sick of seeing him.
Yeah, which is weird to me because a lot of the people who don't like David Tennant's Doctor are like Jodie fans who are very much like, you stop attacking Jodie, stop doing the not my Doctor shit, but they do literally the same thing with David Tennant, as they Neb pointed it out on Twitter. Of someone being like, I'm a Doctor Who fan from 1963 to 2022, being like, oh, okay, so you're not a fan anymore when David Tennant comes back. Okay, so it's just like, I guess, showing you that they are doing the same thing that they criticized or like for so long. Not that like the not my Doctor people are like good people. I would never defend them. It's just like hypocritical for a lot of Jodie stans to do the exact same thing. They wanted to I guess defend the show from. For these past like 5 years.
I'm also like, I feel like the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate is very deliberate in the age of we're doing lazy rehashes. I think RTD is getting pissed off with that happening. It feels like, hey, here's how
he's been
you
pissed off with like mainstream media for quite a while.
Yeah,
especially after his comments on Loki, especially.
It's like, here's how you tell interesting stories, but bring back returning elements instead of just going, hey, remember this?
Mm-hmm.
I do remember it.
Yeah, I feel like Russell wouldn't just bring someone back and be like, hey, they're back. Which is like, he's never done that. You can see his Sarah Jane in series 2 when she comes back. The point isn't just like, oh, she's back. It is a very good episode to explore the characters of
no, but
Tan
she's like
and
she's
Rose.
like an old ex-girlfriend, Sky.
That
makes it bad.
Yeah,
it makes it melodramatic. Makes it a melodramatic soap opera, Sky. You don't understand.
Oh yeah,
that's how it works.
And that's not Doctor Who. That's not my Doctor Who.
And he put the same care in the show itself. Like, you had Joe return, and it was done in an amazing way, and it tackled the fact that the Doctor never really bothered with Joe since. So to Joe, she felt neglected.
I think it's cringe because the Doctor cried, and that's bad.
And it even was a continuation of his first appearance, because obviously the Artron energy in Clyde's hand. So
yeah, well, I think they should just do all new stories with no returning elements whatsoever. Yeah, because that's the only way the show can be
because Chibnall has never used old things for nostalgia points, right? What is Legend of the Sea Devils? I've never heard of that.
There is also the other half of the David Tennant not a fan of people that aren't Jodie fans. They're just classic Who fans that don't like New Who.
Well, and like those people are just cringe.
And how can you be? Let's say you're a fan of New Who, right? And you were a fan of RTD, and you're concerned. How can you be concerned when he brought all this stuff back?
I'm not.
Now that's the weirdest thing about Harbo is that he's concerned and he's a fan of RTD. That's the strangest thing.
Like, surely, if you know about, if you know Russell's body of work, I don't understand. Yeah, if you know of Russell's body of work, I do not get how you can I do not get how people can be upset. You know, you loved it when Jack showed up in Revolution.
I would be slightly concerned in this era of like writing in a lot of modern stuff how bad it is. If it was anybody else but Russell, I would be concerned, but I'm not, because it is Russell.
Exactly. It's like it's like if I see someone talking about how like, oh, there's this new horror show and the premise sounds really weird, I'm like, oh, that's probably bad. But they say, oh, it's Mike Flanagan who made it. I'm like, oh, it's probably really good. Like, knowing who the writer is.
Give me it now. Give me it now.
You know, you loved it when Jack showed up in Revolution. I did not. No, very much didn't like it.
No,
Jack's appearance is terrible. Yeah, it was just like, hey, I'm Jack. I used to be in the show, and I'm here again. And then right after the fucking allegation stories came out, we're like, oh, okay, maybe, maybe we should have supported this. Zod, you're here. I just want to hear you say a word. Say hi to people. Wow, well done. That's wow. Good one. Okay, so Zod isn't here yet, apparently. He is in the call, but his mic isn't working, I suppose. Alrighty, so let's go with the video.
At least hear me out before you start dogpiling me on Twitter.
No,
no, just start dogpiling now. Don't listen to him. just bully him.
For the sake of clarity, this is a joke. We do not endorse bullying.
Yeah, just like how John Barrowman whipping his conch out was a joke.
Yeah.
Shouldn't cancel him for things
know about the plethora of issues that have been plaguing Doctor Who over the past few years.
Wait, sorry, I need to rewind. I did not pay attention to what he said.
You know about the
Good damn it. Right.
Dogpiling me on Twitter. Unless you've been living under a rock recently, you will know about the plethora of issues that have been plaguing Doctor Who over the past few years. Ever since the middle of the Stephen Moffat era, ratings have been trending downwards, and mainstream interest in the show has pretty much hit rock bottom. The fan
That's not entirely true. Series 11 got a big spike in ratings at first. That's something that should be acknowledged.
I think it's just a natural thing of ratings.
I thought he was
down.
talking about. Was he talking about ratings? I thought he was talking about the quality.
No, he's talking about ratings and mainstream appeal.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But my statement is still true. That the second year of Moffat was, the second season of Moffat was the downward spiral.
Yeah. Zod, are you here now? Can you speak? Zod still can't speak. Okay.
Child.
Oh, that's a shame.
Place has been eating itself alive. The writing has been widely criticised, and it just feels like nobody cares about Doctor Who anymore.
Because it's shit now.
I don't really.
Well, it was now. Thankfully, Chib was gone.
This I don't know. I don't think this is fair to say nobody cares about Doctor Who anymore. I guess it's like hyperbole, but yeah.
People clearly care, but you know.
I mean, it was a huge deal when RTD was announced. It's like people care. I just think.
Oh, yeah.
I get what you mean. Like people don't care in the sense of like a lot of people aren't watching anymore. It's like it's true. The ratings did go down a lot. So I don't know.
Like people do care, but like the fandom and the popularity isn't what it used to be.
I mean, the thing is though, this is just me. I don't give a shit about ratings. I don't think that matters.
Well, it might matter to the point he's making. I don't know. We'll see where it gets. Here.
Might do, but I don't know if ratings has any real weight when it comes to, you know, creative merit, I guess.
Well, I think the point he's making is how to show, like, because people are disinterested, they're trying to bring back aspects that people liked before to bring people back to watching the show, such as David Tennant and Russell T Davies. So, like, it makes sense to bring this up. It's what I imagine his point is.
Sky, I thought you said they like it because they're bringing ass back.
They are bringing ass back. I mean, we didn't have enough ass in the Chibnall era.
David Tennant's skinny, bony ass.
Oh, bring back David Tennant's ass.
David Tennant's ass that's so skinny that if you... David Tennant's ass that's so skinny that if you spanked it, you get a paper cut.
Jesus Christ. So anyway.
Former showrunner Chris Chibnall has even gone on record to state that, for a while, he believed his final episode, Power of the Doctor, would be the last ever episode of Doctor Who, because the show seemed to be heading towards cancellation or hiatus territory. But on one fateful day in September 2021, it was announced that former showrunner Russell T Davies would be returning to take control of the show once more. This was met with unanimous praise and celebration, because Davies is one of the most well-regarded and liked producers of Doctor Who's long history, so pretty much everyone was optimistic. But even though I was elated too, I recall having a sense of trepidation towards the idea, because I was worried about the show relying on its past and proven success.
Wow, they're relying on a writer who's proven to be a good writer for the show? I don't... How's that bad?
Toby, no! Toby, go away!
Yes, Toby, do it!
Toby!
Kill Column! No, kill Column, Toby!
No. Toby, come
hey,
on.
Zod's icon turned green. Zod, say hi.
Hi.
Hey, we did it. We finally got a Zod word out. Only took us 34 minutes. Hey, Zod.
How are you?
Gotta leave.
You are in the Watch Together. Good. Yeah. Russell T Davis. What do you think of Russell T Davis? You can speak over Column trying to deal with his cat.
Hiya.
I think Russell T Davis is pretty cool and very talented and deserves, like, I don't know, money.
Shut the fuck
Sure.
up, God.
Did you watched
We
you watched his other shows, right, Zod, or was that Tin? I know.
It's me, you cunt.
I'm planning to go through his shows because I've got like a video comparing like his
It's
LDP
me.
stuff compared to Loki,
But Jeb, you didn't watch
me
It's a
one.
Sin. You watched only Years and Years.
I've seen his shows before that as well. It's a Cincinnati one I haven't actually watched.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking, because I'm pretty sure one of you watched It's a Sin. I'm asking if it was odd.
It was
Well, I mean,
probably
me-
Tin.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, me and Callum have seen Years and Years and It's a Sin.
Yeah, I was asking
We
the
did videos on those.
I was asking the ECUM people. I'm sorry. Let's segregate here from EDAR and ECUM, okay? We don't
Sky,
care
go for
about
it
EDAR right now.
You know, Callum. I reckon we should watch Queer as Folk so we can watch Littlefinger being gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
That was
you watch
awesome.
It's a Sin, right, son?
I have, yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to try. Because I
Guy, have you watched This a Sin?
I've not watched any of his other shows. I've only.
All right.
other-
We've got to
Oh,
kick Sky out of the call.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry about this.
You
I'm going to have to kick
No.
Sky out of the
really-
call.
You'd really like Years and Years.
Oh, I imagine I
Yes,
like all his
yes.
shows. I just need
Basically-
to find time to watch.
Basically, turn left was amplified.
Years and Years is particularly great.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite bits of TV I think I've ever seen.
Because I'm making a video about queer baiting in Chim No Hu, I did I needed to get a scene from a Russell T Davis show that wasn't Doctor Who that mentioned LGBT issues, and I watched the scene from Years and Years. I'm like, man, this is so well written. It's just like a monologue. I think in episode 6, like the
Oh yeah,
like
from
the mom
from the plasma ball from Smith and Jones. Yes.
Watch out.
Yeah, she was just like, see, this is the world we built. It's our fault. I'm like, man, this is such a fantastic monologue. I want to watch the show. It wasn't the scene I ended up going with. I ended up going with the one from It's a Sin, where a character tells the other that they have
I like
AIDS.
this.
But yeah.
I like the cliffhanger where Murray Gold plays loud music over gay sex. That's my favorite. Scene.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you say about it. Like every time I would mention it, you say like, "Oh, it's great. Mary Gold composes over sex."
I mean,
I wish Murray Gold
He
would
does.
compose my sex.
so anyway,
Yeah, I said it.
Russell. We
I
like
said
Russell.
it.
Playing things too safe rather than trying to expand its horizons.
There's nothing safe about Russell.
I was
T.
gonna
Davies,
say
let's just
Russell
say
has
that.
never played it safe. He was the one who killed Gallifrey. he fucking
Yes.
the way he started his tenure in the show was by killing every member of the Doctor species by the hand of the Doctor, who is like this big pacifist character. That's fucking insane, and he pulled it off in one season to make that arc for 9. It's like, that's not safe, and he did it
Also-
brilliantly.
Also, we tackle this in a meta sense. His first era had the first watershed LGBT plus kiss. Captain Jack is a pansexual character. No, ignore like the shady characters behind it. Obviously, we'll talk about the characters. You got Mickey the First Black companion type character, and then you had Martha the First Black full time companion. You had a lot of LGBT plus inclusivity with the side characters, and now you have your first main trans lead in British TV. I think it's British TV.
I think it was the first trans actress to play a trans character.
Oh, so yeah, even bigger then. So you have that. You obviously have
And
Ncuti
also
Gatwa.
like in terms of in universe, all 5 of the Torchwood cast are pansexual.
Yes, and in terms of Ncuti Gatwa, the first Black Doctor lead, to
The
make
first
clear, and also the
actor who's not been born in Britain to play a canon Doctor. I say canon because Richard E. Grant, someone pointed that out on Twitter recently. But yeah, canon.
and it's also like Ncuti Gatwa as well is someone who I think represents a lot of immigrants fleeing from war-torn countries and now, which is something RTD is very passionate on, which you can see in years and years. So I feel like having Ncuti Gatwa be evidence that, hey, immigrants are not these lazy people that the right-wing extremists like to claim.
Correction,
a very
first
big
black
thing.
and gay doctor, a lot of pressure, but I have faith in him. There's no confirmation that he's gay. People keep saying it. He's never confirmed his sexuality.
He's outwardly flamboyant. He's outwardly flamboyant, and he's played gay characters, but that doesn't mean that he is gay. He could be bisexual. He could be straight.
And we don't want to pressure him to come out. I mean, after everything with Kid Connor, we don't want to
say the Heartstopper thing. Yeah.
We don't want a repeat of that, especially since
honestly, I reckon Ncuti could slay some women if he wanted. He's a handsome lad.
It wouldn't surprise me. Let's say one day Ncuti Gatwa was open because Ncuti Gatwa was very private.
I have someone from my work. I'm not going to name their name, obviously, but they have a very complicated sexuality. But they have the same kind of level of flamboyance that Ncuti Gatwa has. But they are also interested in women as well. So there you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a reason why Ncuti Gatwa was a very private person in that regard, and I think a lot of it is due to how the media would react, and also people like their privacy. So
yeah, it's also people, they see like Eric in Sex Education, they're just like, oh well, that's who Ncuti Gatwa is, but it's actually not.
Yeah,
he's playing.
It's interesting because his personality just as a person, when you see him in interviews, is similar to Eric, but he's definitely not, he's not the character, but that's what the issue is.
One of the biggest differences between him and Eric is that Eric's a teenager and he's so outwardly gay compared to Ncuti in real life. Ncuti's quite sort of like he is flamboyant in a way, but he's not in the same way that Eric is.
Yeah, he's not wearing makeup and those very colorful clothes. He does wear very flamboyant clothes, but it's not like calling attention to the fact that he is queer. It's just the way he dresses.
Yeah, and also people are forgetting that metrosexual is a very common thing. There's plenty of straight men that act flamboyant.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you assume he's queer, and you're not doing that out of bad faith, obviously, but you do play into the issues that lie with social norms, gender norms, and whatever else. So be aware of that. Don't do it.
Yeah. And jokes saying that Davis better not bring David Tennant back as the Doctor. And, well, look what happened.
Oh no, he brought back a Doctor for an anniversary special.
Also, he's the 14th Doctor. So
also bringing him back different. He's bringing him back for like 3 episodes. It's not like a whole era.
Yeah, people like to overplay how long he stayed because they do like the thing. And it's like it's overshadowing Jodie. It's overshadowing Ncuti. It's like no, it's 3 episodes.
Is a part of the anniversary as well. Yeah. They made that clear now.
And also on top of that, not only is it part of it, but he's being heavily advertised as the figurehead for the show and is the one that's representing
it's just
it.
Like, how can someone like David Tennant, who I feel like loves the show like so much, he's such a great ambassador for the show. He's always willing to come back and do whatever because of his love for the show. Yet there's so much like negativity around him in people's reaction to him, at least coming back to do these episodes, and I feel really bad for him because he's such a lovable person who clearly adores this show and is willing to do anything for it.
I think it's probably good to point out that I haven't seen anyone be negative towards him as a person. He tends to be pretty well liked as a person. They just don't like the decision made to bring him back by the people writing the stories. And the marketing.
I'm just thinking about how lucky we are to have an actor like David Tennant, who's as good as he is, who will always willing, no matter what stage of his career, will come and do Doctor Who when he's asked, because he loves it that much. Clearly,
was Ncuti announced? Was Ncuti announced before they announced that David Tennant and Catherine Tate were coming back?
No,
that's because. Said in chat, and I I don't remember that. I'm pretty sure David Tennant and Catherine Tate were announced before Ncuti.
Yeah,
I think they were.
They were announced before. They were the first announcements in relation to things.
Yeah, that's what I remember anyway.
I must be misremembering. Yeah.
So, at the end of Power of the Doctor, there was the shocking regeneration of Jodie Whittaker into David Tennant, who had already played the Doctor from 2005 to 2010, essentially becoming the modern face of the show and defining an era. In fact, a lot of people straight up stopped watching Doctor Who after he and Russell T Davies left with...
I don't think it's that many, though.
But I think that's just...
The Smith era got a lot of views, too.
Yeah, but I think that happens with every era. You're always gonna, like, oh, this is my Doctor, the one that watch best. Yeah. It's fine.
Well, no, but the reason why people say that is because at the time, there was lots of people saying that that's what they did.
Right.
Well, but the Smith era has still got as many views. Just
Smith era got many views because it went like international.
Can you just let me finish my point on this? So the reason why I bring this up is because people always say, I remember people dropped off after Tennant, and that is true, but the thing that they forget to mention is there's people that joined as well, that filled in that gap, and that's why the views stayed maybe not quite as high as Series 4's views, but it did stay relatively consistent for a couple of years.
But it was not a massive drop off at all. It was nowhere near.
It wasn't as much of a net negative as people say. There was a drop off of people, but there was also an influx of people as well. Yeah, that's the part that people forget.
And also, Moffat made the show really international, so it's like there's a lot of people coming from everywhere.
Yeah, like overseas, the show expanded a lot.
Now, I might think that Moffat made the show shit, but that's just my opinion. That doesn't change the fact that it was successful and popular.
With the end of time. Sure, the Smith era remained popular, but it was never the consistent cultural juggernaut of the Davies and Tennant eras. So it's safe to say that the announcement...
I think it's kind of apples and oranges, really. It wasn't as much of a juggernaut culture in Britain as it was in the Tennant era, but it was a lot more widespread.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the 50th, I think, proved that it was still very significant to, global. I think it got a Guinness World Record for...
I think it helped that it had David Tennant and John Hurt on the poster.
Yeah, definitely. I also think Series 5 was very, very popular in the UK. From what I remember, it was kind of everywhere.
It was, yeah.
Of the pair returning to Doctor Who has already drummed up a lot of interest and appealed to a lot of lapsed viewers. But the question is, what happens when David Tennant leaves again?
Hopefully they stay for the next
well, Ncuti Gatwa was taking over.
Yeah, I think it's just like, hopefully people will stay. That's like you bringing people back, and you're like, hopefully interest remains after David Tennant leaves. As long as Russell writes it in a way where like it doesn't feel like we're just like you're only here to see David Tennant. Like if you write the episode out to be about like him going into Ncuti Gatwa, I think like the series 14 could be really big.
And here's the thing, right? We got to remember this is an anniversary. It's going to do well, and then the next season is naturally, because it's going to have a drop off, just naturally. So even if it was David Tennant coming back for the next season anyway, there would still be a drop off because it's not an anniversary season.
Yeah, and also
this will be really
I don't understand why this is so complicated to understand. After Tennant leaves, it's going to be a well-regarded writer writing for a well-regarded actor. So I don't understand what
that's a big thing about that's a big thing about keeping the audience is having Ncuti Gatwa, which is an actor that's like known worldwide and very famous and very well regarded everywhere, and who's been advocating for the show everywhere he goes. Like there was there was like the BAFTAs today, I think, and he did an interview on it. It's just like he's talking about the show everywhere. And there's the Disney Plus shit where he's talking about the show also everywhere. So it's like outside of Britain, the show's gonna become so much more popular now.
He's done bloody interviews with bloody Ryan Seacrest and Whoopi Goldberg and all those mainstream people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna drop this take now, and I'll explain why as well. The Ncuti Gatwa era is going to eclipse this Tennant specials, and the reason being is imagine this is the beginning of the next 10 years of Doctor Who, what the future will be. Russell T Davies' aim isn't just to go, here, let's have the show continue. No, he wants to sensationalize it. He wants to have it global. He wants to expand it into multimedia again in ways it was before, but even bigger. So naturally, that's going to draw more people in. There's going to be spin-offs and such. So when Tennant leaves, the show's going to be in an even better place over the years as it builds momentum. Like back in when Eccleston left after one season, these same questions were raised then. So, you know.
There is no guarantee that all those viewers will still stick around.
Well done. That is true. There's no guarantee.
Well done.
That would be no guarantee no matter who you hire, no matter who you brought back. If it was Matt Smith,
Mate,
then it was like fucking Richard E. Grant for the next Doctor after Matt Smith.
I don't think
it would change anything.
I don't think Harbo quite understands the level of difference this is compared to what it's been in the last few years. This is an audience that is so much bigger than what we've had, and so the reasons why they're watching the show will be different. It's not just about are they servicing the inner fan. It's the fact of, oh, look, there's this exciting show that I've heard all about and I'm watching it and I'm enjoying it. Like that's a completely different experience to, you know, oh, they're bringing back past Doctors and this regeneration story of the show I've been watching for years. Like it's a different level of audience. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Harbo quite understands that. And the drop off, yeah, statistically, sure, there will be a drop off, but it's for different reasons. And it's not because of I'm not being fan serviced. It's got nothing to do with that. Because a new audience watching this won't actually, you know, have any fan service to want because they won't understand what the fan service is that they want because they haven't watched it. So it's just naturally, it's a whole different ball game.
Also, I feel like Russell T Davies has the ambition. So, like we got Ncuti Gatwa. That's a very big person to get in terms of mainstream, and I feel like he wants that to continue, whether it be guest roles or sidecast. Because like even Neil Patrick Harris appearing, I don't think people quite comprehend how big that is.
Yeah,
he's a very big actor, and he's very different.
Yeah, I make no bones about it. This is going to be very, very, very popular and very well liked, and it's going to have a lot of people watching it. And I don't understand how some fans don't get that, how major this is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when Davis also decides to move on once again. That's the day.
Okay, but wait, but you're talking like what, more than 2 seasons down the road? I don't see the point in this.
If we're going by at least 3 series and it's after 2023, then that's at least 2026 you're talking. Like,
yeah, it's gonna be like so many years from now. It's like we imagine like Russell worrying about the ratings in like 2026 when it's 2022 now.
Yeah, and you know, if by that point, you know, the show will probably be in such a great place that it can, you know, it can afford to take a hit.
Yeah, and it's also like if they change the showrunner, as long as Russell helps choose a showrunner that can carry that momentum from his era, I don't really see how this like is gonna massively hurt the show. Especially because like there are always a lot of people that join in new eras, like they did with Jodie, especially. You could tell when with Woman Who Fetched Worth.
If it's majorly successful, that's going to attract a whole bunch of different people from around the place that are in the mainstream to want to work on the show. And so you're going to get like people wanting to be showrunner that wouldn't have done so before because of how, you know, how much of popularity it's gained and also how much of a successful job it would be to work for. If it's a job that can produce more money, you're going to get more people wanting contracts doing it.
Yeah.
How can you?
And then if it's a successful show in terms of its, you know, popularity, in terms of its creatively speaking, you're going to get a whole bunch of people wanting to work on the show because they like the show, because they like watching it, because they think it's, you know, an enjoyable show to work on because of its creative satisfaction, because they like the show itself.
Yeah.
So
I don't get how you could be a Doctor Who fan and make these points, because this feels like, you know, when Russell T Davies was leaving the first time and everyone was like, oh, they got to cancel Doctor Who, and even the BBC was considering it. It feels like that narrative again. And then, obviously, you know, Series 5 was a huge success. and then Series 6 was an even bigger success around the world, is like maybe stop doubting the show that continues to
perhaps a bit of
survive.
optimism, maybe. How about a bit of optimism?
It feels weird to be pessimistic about someone who's proven themselves, because it's like if the 60th anniversary was being done, like let's say Jodie left but Chibnall stayed, and it was being done by Chibnall, I would definitely be like, oh, I'm worried about the future of the show. I'm not sure he can keep viewers engaged. But it's Russell T Davies. I don't know, man. I feel it's weird to me. I don't know.
I find it strange that someone is pessimistic about something that is quite possibly one of the best case scenarios for the show. Yeah. This is genuinely one of the most positive things that could have happened, and for some reason people are still being pessimistic about it, which is really weird.
It is really weird.
Like it just makes sense, right? There's so many good things associated with the show now. It's all just adding up to what should be a success, and I don't understand why people don't see that.
I think like the most risk-taking thing that we got from RTD is like casting an actress who's not that well known in Millie Gibson, but it's also like it's what he did with Billie Piper, basically.
She's well known in the UK.
Well, yeah, I imagine he was like
I'm gonna say this as someone in the UK. She's not well known in the UK.
Yeah, she's not. I didn't know who she was at all. So
yeah, I've seen most people on Twitter being like, I don't know who that is, but maybe y'all have it better.
Coronation Street's quite mainstream though, isn't it?
To a certain demographic, it is. Not
if you're still using Facebook, I guess.
But my point being, she's like the least known actress coming into the show, I guess, like the least known aspect, like least audience appeal thing. But I feel like bringing an actress that's unknown can do so well for a show, like it did with Billie Piper coming in. And
so I guess what you're saying is that unfortunately she was in a show that was only watched by the dads.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
But it's like
drink number 4.
Like if you told me even before RTD, like a month before RTD came back, that we would see a co-production deal with Bad Wolf, one of the best recent production companies out there. We'll get a distribution deal with Disney Plus, of all things. We'd get Ncuti Gatwa as a doctor. Even though I didn't know of his work, I knew he was very popular to people. I'd be like, you're fucking insane.
Yeah, and since then, many of us have watched Sex Education, and Ncuti Gatwa was an amazing actor.
He is a brilliant actor, yeah. Oh yeah, apparently Ncuti Gatwa was really named before David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
Yeah, I thought so.
It was very close. Apparently, it was like 2 days. But
I felt like I was going insane. Like I swear he was announced first, and then
I thought it was the opposite. But yeah, anyway, yeah, he did. It was announced like 2 days prior. But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, Ncuti Gatwa was a great actor.
Oh yes, because it was within that week of like all the announcements. It was in the same week.
Yeah. But yeah, just going from what Connor said, it's like if we've because it's like at the time I remember I was talking to Neb and Jeb because they were like super excited at the time. I was like, what are you excited? You don't know anything about this actor. Apparently they had like looked into some videos of him and whatever. But
he's really good.
Didn't get that. But then after I watched Sex Education and Tin watched all of Sex Education, Zod as well, and Neb watched the first season. And
I have as well.
I don't think Jeb has watched any of the show, but Jeb is cringe.
Why are you such a twat, Jeb?
Jeb hasn't finished Arcane up to until this day, so you know that's funny.
Okay, Jeb. Now I'm gonna have to kick you out of this call now.
But the point being, like after we watched that, like, oh no, yeah. He's really good. I feel like there's some moments, especially that I could feel like a Doctor vibe of him being like more angry, more stern. I think
was it episode 6 of season 1? I felt the most. He was.
Is that the episode where he's attacked? Is that the one?
Well, he goes. It's that episode where he shouts at the teacher, and then that scene in the bathroom where he's looking at himself in the mirror.
Yeah,
that was the most like serious the character was, and I felt.
Yeah, it's when he shouts at the.
Something about him.
Mm-hmm.
It's when he shouts that he goes, "Don't touch me!"
Yeah, those one.
And he has that scene where.
Yeah.
He has that scene where he sits in the car with his dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was because he was trying not to like present as flamboyant, right? And then he was like trying to not. I guess.
Gatwa for me, Gatwa was his best in season 1. I would say. I think he really shows off a lot of stuff. I think
I really like him in the season 3 episode where he's in I forgot the countries in Nigeria that he goes to.
Oh, the wedding he goes to.
Yeah, is it Nigeria? I think it is, right?
I can't remember.
I think people need to remember as well, Russell T Davies already picked a person, and then Ncuti Gatwa came in as the last and changed his mind. Do you understand how big of a deal to change his mind?
That is, yeah. That makes me just wonder who it was. Who was so close until the last minute.
Yep.
And also, along with that, with the casting of the companion, with Gatwa being there, like I think we've all seen the clip of
When he turned to Russell and said, "That is the companion."
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's.
I really like that confidence
of playing the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the person who's playing the Doctor having that say in who the companion is going to be, I think is a really. I don't know. That might have been a thing before, but actually displaying it and very clearly, it's like, yeah, I think that's a really, really cool thing that Russell has allowed Gatwa to be a part of the decision of the next companion.
That's what Russell T Davies is actually very good at. Like Tennant was able to write his own lines and such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Baker didn't write his lines, but he ad-libbed them on set, and they were usually really entertaining.
Still wondering who the favorite was before Gatwa. I really do.
Like
that's a really interesting
question. There's a scene when Tom Baker goes up to a table and he holds a glass of water to his ear, and the director's just like, "What are you doing?" And the director didn't understand what he was doing, and he explained. He said, I'm a Time Lord from Gallifrey. How would you know what I'm doing?
That's great. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Danger of an approach like this, because the show eventually becomes reliant on appealing to an audience they could easily lose based on just one or two people leaving the show. Ever since 2010, it has become clear that a large percentage of the audience were simply David Tennant fans.
What percentage?
This feels weird because the show, as Jeb said, seasons 5 and 6 were like huge successes.
Give me the actual statistics, please, Harbo. If you're going to make such claims of a large percentage of the people were Tennant fans, I would like to see the actual statistics.
Yeah, I would like for him to show the ratings of the drop off, I guess.
Figures.
I know a lot of normies that were big fans of Christopher Eccleston and of Matt Smith.
Okay,
so I don't understand this.
I'm going to do a quick Google search just to see the percentage. Just to see the percentage drop off between the season 4 finale.
I think some people really underestimate how popular the Ninth Doctor was.
Yes,
he's really well liked.
11 was very popular, even after like Series 7, he was still very popular.
Yeah, absolutely. In the mainstream, he was certainly.
10.57. Okay, that was the season.
And even Capaldi's like first season was still relatively like well viewed. It was just when we got to like Series 10 is where it started to really tank.
Okay, and then do the calculator. And
I'm pretty sure Series 8 has similar viewing figures to Series 1.
It does. So between Series 4 finale, bearing in mind that's already skewed in of itself because of the nature of that finale, there was a 63.38% retention in theory between the Series 4 finale to Series 5 finale, which isn't a large drop off at all. Given that was
very popular. It was very popular at the time.
The first episode of Series 5 got 10 million views.
Yeah, it did really well. 11th Hour did really well, both viewership and critically. Yeah, it's not this big. This seems like a very big narrative that has been like developed over these like the last decade or so. That is just simply not true. That a lot of people left. Like people probably did leave, absolutely, but it's not a large percentage at all. It's a very small minority of people who just left because they're probably like very casual fans of Doctor Who, more specifically David Tennant.
I think the more accurate statement would be there's a large percentage of people that left eventually, but not it wasn't straight away. There were some people that gave it a chance.
Here's something interesting. if you go to Series 6 viewing figures, that was consistently higher than Series 5, which means whilst there was a drop-off between Series 4 and 5, probably due to the transition, it grew again. So you're going to see a drop-off and then growth.
Series 6 was really popular.
I also feel like at any rate, it doesn't matter. When you change the doctor, the actor who plays the doctor, there are people who are going to drop off. And there is a big transition. Yeah, there are new people who come in, and that's the point. It's like winning over new viewers. It's why Ncuti Gatwa is so important, because you can win over new viewers.
It's why Jodie got 10 million views in the first episode.
Yeah.
Not only was it a new doctor, but it was the first ever female doctor. That would have given it a bit of a boost too in terms of the media perception.
Yeah, because it was a big change for the show, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a big shame. Shame about the story, but hey-ho.
Ideally, they're not really the kind of crowd the show should start catering itself to. When the second Russell T Davies...
Why are we making this assumption that they're being catered to rather than a story is trying to be told in an anniversary?
Once again, Harbo is ignoring all of the actual reality here. So Harbo is only focusing on this very specific percentage of people that are fans of the actor and not of the show, and that is a portion that exists, but it's not the only portion that exists. There's a lot of people that just really liked Doctor Who during that era, and they are excited to see him appear on their screens again because they're big fans of that. But that doesn't mean that they won't stick around for Ncuti Gatwa. There are always going to be people that are going to stick around.
They need to be hooked onto the era, and that's the job.
And we know this. Mm-hmm. And we know this because there were people that stuck around after Tennant left. It wasn't all doom and gloom.
Oh, people stuck around after Smith left.
I was one of them. I stuck around. In fact, the biggest
I'm still here after all these years.
I did leave after Series 7. That's because Series 7 was really bad.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. It's actually, if you were to mark when Doctor Who kind of waned properly, it was Series 7 to Series 8. Partially because Capaldi was a new direction of Doctor that the new audience was quite used to.
And it took so long from the start of Series 7 to get to the start of Series 8. It was pretty much 2 years.
Yeah, so...
Also, because someone said in chat, it really started dropping off after Netflix went off of Netflix, and I think it's actually a good point. When did it go off Netflix? I think it was still in Netflix when I started watching, which is in like 2014.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, it was still on Netflix. I remember up until around early Chibnall Who, I think.
Oh yeah, I remember because
because for me, I went off Netflix in Brazil way before that. It was like
in the UK.
It was like
recently
in Brazil, it had up to Series 8 when Series 9 was already out, and then once I think Return of Dr. Mysterio came out, there was no Doctor Who anymore on Brazilian Netflix.
So I remember there was a period. There was a period of time when Series 1 to 10 was on Netflix, and then Series 11 was on a platform called TVNZ in my country.
Right. In UK, Doctor Who left Netflix at the end of 2020. And then it all went to iPlayer, as it should, really.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Because at the time, they're trying to build iPlayer as, you know, it's the UK Netflix in a sense. A lot more box sets of series and TV shows and all that.
It makes sense in Britain, but I think the big point is, like, outside of Britain, it is a very big loss for the show that it wasn't in any
there was a period. There was a period of time in New Zealand where you couldn't watch Series 1 to 10 on a streaming service.
Yeah, in Brazil
you could. Case for now.
Yeah, in Brazil
I actually think that's still. I actually think that's still the case at the moment until that changes.
Yeah, it left Netflix in the US in like 2014. Yeah, it was around the same time in Brazil, so there's probably like outside of the UK. That's probably when
it actually makes me wonder if, given the streaming rights, is Chibnall Who going to be on Disney Plus with the others? I'm not sure.
It confuses me because I don't know why it stayed on Netflix in the UK for so long when that should have been where it was off first.
Yeah, I don't know. These like TV rights things, they're very weird. I'm not sure exactly how these work.
This era was announced, it seemed like a golden opportunity to use the writer's name to reignite interest in the show and build a platform for bold new changes people would be more agreeable to and gel with easier.
Wait, so you're just saying that there isn't really a problem, that he is willing to change the show, and that it makes it easier for bringing it back?
So what Harbo doesn't calculate is there's this big portion of the mainstream that doesn't know who the writers are. And seeing David Tennant's face is something that will actually bring them in, as opposed to hearing, they'll be like, Russell T Davies, who's that? There's a lot of people that don't know who the writers are.
Oh, of course, yeah. When I told my dad, I had to explain who Russell T Davies was. I didn't have to explain who David Tennant was. Yeah. And obviously, me and my dad, we watched Doctor Who up to Series 7, so like he would.
So using David Tennant as a symbol for Russell T Davies returning is what people will respond to.
Yeah, like my cousin, who's really into queer writing, didn't know who Russell T Davies was, but in this case knew who Ncuti Gatwa was.
Actually, Russell T Davies understands what people operate like. They're going to see David Tennant, they're going to want to watch it, and then when he threads Ncuti Gatwa into those episodes, they're going to get introduced to him at the same time, and then they'll get stuck on him and then want to stay around when the Tennant's gone. It's a very good strategy, and I have no idea why people are being pessimistic about it, because it sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a great idea. You use the short-term nostalgia of the returning showrunner to renew public interest, which then...
Oh, but it's not just about nostalgia, though. He's a creative person.
He's been
I think
making banging shows for years.
I think the thing that made him trend that day when it was announced, like, it wasn't the nostalgia. It was being like, holy shit, he's a phenomenal writer, and he's coming back. And he's like written some of my favorite episodes. I was like, oh, he's written some of my favorite episodes, and I remember those episodes, and that's what makes me like it. It's like, no, I know the quality of writing he can do. That's what excites me.
One of the things I saw a lot of when he was announced is that he wrote Years and Years and It's a Sin, and that's exciting because he's going to be coming back to Doctor Who after doing those shows. That's one of the biggest things, and it shows that it's not just about nostalgia, it's also about the value of the craft.
Which is
great to see. I love it when an audience responds to value of craft, because that's the heart of it, really.
I'd ask again if Harbo has read Russell T Davies' book and seen him go, I would never come back. So for him to come back, he's got some really interesting ideas he thinks needs exploring.
Allow Ncuti Gatwa's incarnation to start off strong with good ratings and a lot of goodwill from fans who can trust Davis to write good Doctor Who. It's especially prevalent given the dramatically lowered expectations of the Chibnall era. Davis and Gatwa would have been handed success on a silver platter. Literally anything they do.
I will just say it wasn't weird that he used a photo from Haunting of Felicity Darty, given that's probably the best Chibnall episode.
Yeah. It's probably just search for like a photo of the fam and edit it without really thinking about it.
Google fam.
This is a better photo to use.
Yeah,
it's
not really, because the quality of it is pretty poor.
That's what I mean, though. It's more representative of the quality.
Would have been seen as a stark improvement on what came before it, and lead to instant success and a boost in viewership and audience reception, especially because of natural interest in the 13th Doctor's regeneration. But it seems as though Russell didn't believe the nostalgic appeal of his name alone would be good enough for the show. So
yeah, whatever. We already addressed this. It's just annoying.
Yeah, I know. It's an insular point. There's so many people out there that loved his stuff but don't know who he is because they don't know who the writers are. It's just a fact. It's not like, you have to understand that people don't know who writers are, and that's just what it is. Like, I know so many people, especially like my parents and my grandparents and all of their friends, that all loved Broadchurch. But if I tell them the name Chris Chibnall, they're like, "Who's that?
Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah, people don't know who writers are.
That's what New Zealand people sound like.
It's just reality. That's not what all New Zealanders sound like, but okay. Continue being racist.
Yeah, who the fuck is Chris Chibnall?
Bringing back his iconic Doctor too. And like I said, it's a good idea.
No, I'll tell you what New Zealanders sound like. My dad the other day was just like, now the other day I watched that last Doctor Who show and I loved how the Master was nasty.
Oh no, your dad's cringe.
But then, of course, I changed his mind.
Of course you
was
did.
You
great.
did do that, yeah.
You indoctrinate your dad. True.
Can we all? I just want to say it out loud. Can we all agree that Sacha Dewan is a terrible master? Yeah, his master was terrible.
We already have Callum. You don't need that validation again.
Yeah, no, I
for
just
2
need
years
it.
now.
I just need it, right?
No, you don't.
I need it. Give it to me. Give it.
Idea to appeal to nostalgia temporarily, to repair that disillusioned fanbase and build a platform.
Also, it's the 60th, so we're celebrating the show. So bringing back an old Doctor.
Let us celebrate.
Bringing back past Doctors has been.
Let us fucking celebrate this, all right? It's a fucking celebration. It's 60 years of Doctor Who.
This
so
is
shut
probably,
up.
Also, on the surface, this appears like it's going to be the least fan wanky of the anniversary specials because he's doing a new take on a past Doctor.
Yeah.
New take.
Yeah, it's because like there's not like
after being in it.
There's not like other returning Doctors like meeting the Doctor as far as we know. So yeah. Like
the 3 Doctors, the 5 Doctors, and the Day of the Doctor are all exponentially a lot more fan wanky than this will be. At least what it appears like it'll be. But we haven't seen the rest of it. Even in saying that, doing that is not a problem because it's the fucking anniversary and that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Once every 10 years, have something that rewards viewers that have watched the show.
Let us celebrate.
I want to see Beat the Meep. Let me see it.
Beat the fucking meep.
So exciting.
By going down this route of inserting
I'm just so excited that Russell T Davies has got
hate how we have to wait 300. I hate how we have to wait 368 days.
Anyway, as I was going to say, I just fucking love that Russell T Davies has a deal with Disney Plus, the most mainstream service in the world, and he's putting Beat the Meep and Doctor Who. That's amazing.
Yeah, boy.
What a Chad.
Fanbase and build a platform. But by going down this route of inserting David Tennant in between Whittaker and Gatwa, it adds an extreme amount of pressure on Gatwa to...
Also, does this mean that Ruby Sunday is going to be officially a Disney princess?
Oh, please. Why are we putting this pressure on Gatwa? Why? What is this pressure? I don't feel any pressure from him because I know the capabilities of the actor.
I don't... Harbo is majorly overthinking this unnecessarily. It's very, very simple.
He's Ncuti Gatwa is a good mainstream actor who can perform really well and who can clearly work well with Russell.
This is not rocket science. David Tennant is popular. Ncuti Gatwa is a good actor. Russell T Davies is a good writer. That's all you need to know.
Gatwa's pretty popular too.
And we have excellent directors.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't feel like it. I don't think like it feels like a big pressure on Ncuti.
It really doesn't.
It just feels like he's carrying over after the anniversary. I think it's less pressure on him that to have his own series rather than to carry the anniversary, being a new Doctor.
Just look at it. Look at this. So it's so simple. You have an award-winning writer, award-winning director, award-winning actors, and you have it on the biggest platform in the world. What is the problem?
Yeah, it seems pretty straightforward.
Also, it's very clear that a lot of the fandom already loves Gatwa. Yeah. It's very clear.
But like Sky raised a very good point. Now we don't need Ncuti Gatwa to do a whole anniversary.
Exactly. He doesn't have to come in the anniversary where every eye is on it for it to be like, all right, Gatwa, what you got for us? Instead, Tennant is taking the load because he's already an established Doctor actor, along with Catherine Tate, along with Russell and Rachel Talalay, with Gatwa being a part of the story. It allows so much weight off his shoulders to be solely being him who has to carry the show in the anniversary.
I guarantee in a couple of years' time, Harbo is going to have egg on his face after this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who are criticizing Russell will just be like, oh, it's actually, our worries were just completely unfounded.
Oh, wait, what? Russell T Davies or like a really talented writer? Who would have fucking thought?
Yeah.
Also, I feel like people forget Julie Gardner's back as well.
Yeah, she's also back, which is great.
And she was like the figurehead in.
Yeah. This is also one other thing. This is also one other thing I forgot to mention. Some of the TV shows that Bad Wolf Productions have made have been very highly acclaimed and won awards, like His Dark Materials and the Billy Piper shows and all that. They've all been really well liked and had really talented creative direction style, and have been very artistic. And the budget's been tripled, so the resources that they have to use is massive. Like, this is just, what is wrong? There's so many things that are going right. So why is there pessimism? It's just, it doesn't make sense why there's pessimism when everything is pointing it to being a success. It's for it to fail would be really, really unlucky. Like, it's we're also coming out of pandemic era, relatively speaking, as well. So there's going to be more freedom. Therefore, there's going to be less restrictions, like there were during Chibnall later on. Like, it's like, what is the issue? Where is the problem? Please locate the problem.
The £10 million per episode figure, is that confirmed, or is that just like something like a rumor that people just went with?
Rumor.
Okay.
Still a rumor.
That's a rumor, but the phrase I've heard used is triple the budget.
Right. All right, I was just curious, but if it is true, then it is really insane.
It wouldn't surprise me when you've got Bad Wolf Productions, BBC, and Disney Plus funding it. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Gatwa, it adds an extreme amount of pressure on Gatwa to succeed because he now has to follow on from the most popular actor to ever play the Doctor.
Except for the fact that he's a really talented actor and Russell T Davies is a really talented writer. Don't forget that.
But Matt Smith followed on from David Tennant. He was massively popular. What?
Yeah, and Russell and Tennant couldn't let him go, and they put all the pressure on him with the fucking "I don't want to go" line.
Optimism. Look at Matt Smith now. He's this is 12 years later. He's a mainstream actor.
He's a mainstream actor. It's taken a while for him to get to back to mainstream in the last couple of years, but he's kind of back there now. Really.
Well, no, he's always been in the mainstream, but it's just some of the things he's worked on have been made fun of, like Morbius, for example.
But if you look at to the same extent as he wasn't till now.
Well, no, he was very popular in The Crown.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, my mom knows him only from The Crown.
That was a multi-award-winning show.
Yeah, I have someone from my work who loved him in The Crown. And I had many people on Instagram when House of Dragon was coming out saying all I recognize is The Crown when they saw Matt Smith. So he's well liked for that show, very well liked for that show.
And it is a mainstream show. Like the actors they can get from The Crown is kind of insane.
It's about the bloody royal family.
Yeah,
it's a well-known show, especially in the Commonwealth. Maybe not so much in America, but in terms of the Commonwealth countries, it is a very well-known show.
Oh, people love it in Brazil as well. Brazil has a weird fascination with the royal family. I don't get it, but anyway.
The first time Tennant left, the fanbase was pretty reluctant to accept anyone else, and it was only due to the excellent writing and performance of the...
So you just solved your own problem. Russell was writing.
Yeah, just be good, Russell. Just write some good stuff.
Yeah, it was because the quality of the writing was so good that people accepted Matt Smith. And it's a problem with Russell, even though he's a good writer who's going to continue on.
I just like to point out some of the Matt Smith era also doesn't have quality of writing and it was still popular. So
well, yeah, but this is quality. This is based on popularity, not in terms of actual quality.
Sure.
Because quality, as we say, not objective. Anyway, point just being it was very well liked. Yeah.
I know what you mean, but it's.
But I do get what you mean. Yeah.
Semantics.
Yeah.
In surely in his mind right now, he's kind of thinking, well, it's going to be really popular when Tennant does his things, and then he suddenly expects a huge drop off despite the writers staying the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because he just said that the quality of the writing is what kept people interested in Matt Smith. That's what made people give him a chance. The quality of the writing is going to continue being as good from the Anniversary Shoe Series 14 because Russell's staying on. So it's I don't get it.
I think the drop off of people will be a slim minority of people that just don't like the idea of the Doctor being black. That's what.
Well, I think that, and I think the just people who are literally just watching because it is an anniversary, because it is like a special episode, or because it is David Tennant. Like there are people who just watch the specials, right? So.
I'll tell you a funny story. I was overhearing a conversation. It was like a little, get together at my house and people were getting drunk. And I heard there's a conversation that made me laugh when I heard it. So people getting drunk and they were talking about Doctor Who, and they were talking about it because they saw me there, and they're like, "Oh yes, I saw this." And then one of my friends who's very, very racist was just like, "Oh, I'll watch it for David Tennant, but I won't watch it for the Black Doctor." And then,
dear Lord.
Then my other friend responded saying to him, "It's like, well, I don't like the idea that the Doctor's black either, but he's also a really good actor, so I will watch it."
It's like that. It's like that comment on the No Way Home trailer where the guy's like, I'm even though I am a racist, I am very excited for Jamie Foxx to return to playing Electro because he's really good at that shit. Yeah, that's the exact same thing. That's amazing.
Like, I genuinely believe wholeheartedly that we're actually going to see an increase in viewership just because, again, 100%. As I mentioned, this is the foundations. We haven't done the building blocks yet, which are the spin-offs and everything, because we know that's coming.
Yeah, I think that'll be the real test. Is that are they able to market spin-offs? And given Disney's reputation, I think the viewing figures for their spin-offs have been pretty well done in other franchises, so it's looking optimistic.
Could you imagine like really short episodes as well? That
also, let's not forget when Russell T Davies did spin-offs, they were actually new ideas. Obviously, Sarah Jane Adventures is a classic Who adaptation in some respects, but it is a new idea, and Torchwood was completely new. Like, it was entirely something that the show had never had before.
Exactly. And they held their own. Sarah Jane, to this day, is regarded as the best CBBC show of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's with mainstream audiences.
And the only reason it ended is because Elizabeth Sladen passed away. It was still popular to the fifth season.
Exactly, and they had very big ideas for that fifth season.
Yeah.
It's just, man, imagine. And the thing is, it's like, surely that show's existed is proof of RTD taking an existing concept and reinventing it for modern.
Imagine if he this is just me, like, thinking dream casting here, but imagine if they bring back Doctor Who Confidential on Disney Plus. That'd be amazing.
Yes.
That'd be
cool. I mean, I think we're all but confirmed to get Doctor Who Confidential back. So to see it on Disney Plus.
Give it to me.
I very much would like to see it back, personally.
I remember on there was the show Totally Doctor Who, and there was an interview where Russell T Davies was showing the fans around Martha Jones's bedroom. It was really interesting.
That's fun.
This is where the vibrator is used.
Oh no, Jeb, why is that where your mind goes?
Yeah, this is the vibrator, and these are the handcuffs.
Okay, that's even worse.
See, yeah, Tin made it worse. Yeah. God damn. She's black, Tin. Don't make that joke. Okay. So.
She might want to.
Okay, now you made it worse.
She might want to be like her ancestors.
So no, it's Tin's fault. You made it offensive. I just pointed out that you were offensive. So no, I'm just being a good person. Tin was the one. Tin was the racist one. We're monetized, by the way, people. Did you know that? YouTube approves of this content.
Caleb, you know that scene where Robin Aaron kicks down Sansa Stark's snow castle, and then he just keeps on kicking it down. This is what I'm thinking of right now when I'm hearing these people.
Everyone's just wrecking the castle, just breaking it more and more, trying to fix it.
I think we should slap Sky like Sansa slaps Robin Aaron.
I'd like it, so do it, bitch. I made it way worse. I'm glad nobody spoke a single word after I said that. So let's continue with the video.
If it means we get kissed by Littlefinger, it's worth it.
Let's continue the
Okay,
video.
can we get back to Doctor Who,
11th
please?
Doctor, the people grew to like Matt Smith in the role. Now Davis has created the exact same scenario for Gatwa. He has a much harder job now than
I don't
And
know.
he's going to
What are you on
succeed
about?
because he's really fucking good, Harbo.
He has created he has created the exact same scenario. Yes, he too did 4 seasons again with 2 doctors.
Yeah. Create the same scenario that was successful.
Man.
It's just like, oh my god. It's just saying
It's
the same
almost
thing
as if the factor here is the fact if the story is well written or not.
This is more like
it's the same thing if back in like 2009 you're like, oh my god, they're just doing the same thing they did with Peter Davison again, following on a popular actor and casting a young doctor. That'll never work. Even though it did work. It worked in the 80s and it worked in the 2010s, and it's going to work here.
This is more like if Eccleston had left than if Tennant had left.
Yeah, because it's way less time.
Yeah, Doctor Who for a short period.
And remember how unsuccessful the show was after Eccleston left.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Well, I think the thing is like it's way less time and it's carrying over the same writer, right? Isn't that the point, Jeff?
Yeah.
Because so it's like it is a very similar scenario to that, and we all know what happened to David Tennant's era. I don't know.
Yeah, what shit? It was about romances and it was cringe soap opera.
Yes,
remember how Tooth and Claw got like 10 million viewers because they saw that Queen Victoria was in it and a werewolf and David Tennant.
Yeah, people just had the hots for the werewolf. That was it.
Well, Will Maddox did, but that's another story entirely.
Yeah.
Goddamn furry. With how it's 3.5 seasons of David Tennant, easier to go off of than 3 specials of David Tennant. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Capaldi has credited Ncuti.
In what? What?
Also, this is also not as risky as Matt Smith because Stephen Moffat had done Press Gang and he had written episodes of Doctor Who, but he wasn't a proven showrunner when he took the job. There was a massive risk. Whereas Russell T Davies has proven that he can showrun like many shows. We're talking like double digits he's showrun, and he's been successful at every single one of them.
I think also a big thing, because you mentioned like it isn't as risky as Matt Smith. Matt Smith was way less known of an actor than Ncuti is now when he was cast.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ncuti is way more popular, way more proven, I guess, in the field.
And Matt Smith was completely against what Moffat intended the Doctor to be. So
yeah, and it seems like Ncuti and RTD have a very good relationship in terms of building the character.
Yes, let's not forget what Jeb mentioned. RTD had a person in mind that was pretty much locked in to be the next Doctor, and then Ncuti Gatwa auditioned and stole it from him with his performance. It's clear that he is right for this role if that happened.
Exactly.
And he otherwise would have had, and it's an unnecessary headache for the show to deal with because a lot.
It's not a headache. He's going to be popular and well liked. I don't understand this. I don't understand this point of view. People already love him. Already, and he hasn't even had a single episode, and people are already ready to love him.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much going for it already.
He has a much harder job now than he otherwise would have had, and it's an unnecessary headache for the show to deal with, because a lot of people will once again start moaning that they want David Tennant back, again. As stated, the trilogy of 2023 specials are bringing back David Tennant in the lead role as a fully fledged incarnation of the Doctor. He's not the Degeneration Doctor or another similar term like the War Doctor or the Fugitive Doctors. David Tennant is the 14th Doctor. We're also getting the returns of Catherine Tate as Donna, Donna's family, the Celestial Toymaker.
Why didn't you put a photo of Donna's family? Why? Okay, that's just... It annoys me. Editing. I like putting effort into editing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but editing just putting a picture on the screen and then doing a pan up.
Yeah, you zoom a bit, you move it down, and you create a fucking...
I talked before about Beat the Meat, but I just love the balls on Russell to bring back a villain that hasn't appeared since the 60s and is from a story that has mostly missing episodes and is casting Neil Patrick Harris in that role. That's a pretty amazing fact that he's doing that.
I just can't wait for Neil Patrick Harris.
The Celestial Toymaker hasn't appeared in the TV show since like 1966 or something.
Neil Patrick Harris is such a good actor.
He is.
Oh, he's great. He was good in
also
in
when you think about it, to tie it to a 60th anniversary, the last time the Celestial Toymaker appeared in the TV show was when William Hartnell was the Doctor, and he's the first. So that's nice for an anniversary, right?
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you remember the Sky and Callum, you remember this because you watched the video. When I showed you Will Maddox's meme compilation, the Celestial Toymaker was the one with the Wii music playing over it.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I think I remember.
Only 72 moves to go.
Yeah.
And even obscure expanded media character Beep the Meep. Oh, yes. And there has also been speculation.
Yeah,
I can't wait for Beep the Meep. That's going to be so fun.
Beep the Meep's going to be fucking pog.
Yeah, Petrika's going to be amazing. He's great at over the top roles. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's going to be the new He's going to be the new adipose.
It's funny, the adipose, because it's like, I remember when I first watched it, I thought that episode was like so... It wasn't as good because this was so silly, the adipose. Then when I rewatched it last year, I was like, man, this episode's really good.
Partners in Crime is great.
It is phenomenal.
What it does... It's not just like a childish looking thing. It's also a satire on fat people, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that the Slovene are also a satire on fat people as well.
Yeah.
And Russell T Davies has that pass to do so because he's also a fat man.
But anyway, I was going to say Neil Patrick Harris. I'm really excited for him as Toymaker. I really like everything he's been in. And as someone who's rewatched How I Met Your Mother a gazillion times, he can bring a lot of range to his character.
Oh my god, watch a new show already.
I cannot. I'm making a video on it, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay.
He's in It's a Sin.
Yeah, he is. He is in It's a Sin.
Hey, what? I said that a minute ago. Yeah. What is it? Everyone ignores me.
Yeah, he's got that great scene where he's in the hospital and he says, perhaps it was that piece of mold. That one piece of mold.
Yeah, he was great.
He's so fucking good in that show.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do a British accent pretty well.
Yeah, he can.
Also, it's going to be weird for Annika Wells, who plays Polly in the 60s Doctor Who. She was married to Michael Gough, who played the Celestial Toymaker. And to see Neil Patrick Harris play that role, it's just such a strange thought.
Of a Mel Bush return. Obviously, I trust Davis to combine all these elements into very good episodes, but David Tennant being the actual 14th Doctor feels like a short-sighted move.
Yeah, that's it. I just paused to make noises. I'm just disappointed in this argumentation.
Harbo has no faith in people to watch the show.
He is literally just acting in bad faith, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, I think something that people forget is that part of the reason why you have so many people out there that's just like, oh, I wish it was David Tennant again, is not just because of the actor, it's also because of the writing. It's also because of the episodes he was in.
Oh, it's the kind of thing. If David Tennant came back under Chibnall, I'm like, please no. It's like if Jodie comes back under RTD, I would be excited. I think I've talked to Jeb a lot about this. How if Jodie was written by RTD even for an episode, I think she could be such a great actress in playing the Doctor.
My level of anticipation is different between Day of the Doctor and this because of RTD.
Exactly, yeah.
Because when it was announced, when I saw that David Tennant was going to be in Day of the Doctor, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really cool. But it's still the same,
Moffat.
It's
series 7 Moffat, yeah.
It's still the same. It's still the same person running the show. I was happy to see Tennant was going to be in it because I like Tennant. But with RTD writing Tennant, it's a whole different ballgame. It's the same thing with people always are trying to feel like, oh, have you listened to Dalek Universe? Have you listened to the Tennant Big Finish stuff? It's like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same thing. Yes, it's the same actor, but it's not the same writing. It's not the same characterization because it's a different team doing the same character, and that makes a difference.
Like, if I were to use a different franchise, bear with me on it. It's like before Sonic Frontiers, people just didn't want Sonic's friends appearing. They felt they were too cluttered or were wasted. Now Ian Flynn is writing it, and he's like the most popular Sonic writer. They're like, please, can we have all these characters back? It's the same premise.
Yeah,
it's the fact that like it's that I'm not just a fan of David Tennant. I'm a fan of the combination of him and Russell together. That is the magic ingredient.
No, that's the thing that Jeb and I always say when they're like, especially with Multiverse of Madness, a lot of rumors regarding Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters returning in that film. We're like, please no, because we like these characters because of the way they were written by Melissa and Jad Whedon, not because of, just the actors are fun. It's like, I love the actors, but without the writers behind them, without all the great directors that directed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's not the same.
It's like, there's a reason why, despite Capaldi being my favourite, I am more excited if he was to return under Rusty Davies, because I prefer Rusty Davies as a writer, and I think that's a better combination.
Just to mention, Joe Martin, Fugitive Doctor RTD episode, please. Yes, I want that. Yes. I think that could be phenomenal. Yes. But also...
I mean, the thing is, unfortunately, I think a lot of the Chibnall stuff is being handed over to Big Finish now.
Right.
So it's probably unlikely to appear, but you never know.
No, not really talking about likelihood, just something I would want to watch and see.
But but it's just like I just know that it depends on who's writing it. If it's John Downey or James Goss, then Fugitive Doctor and Sash the Once Master might actually get some really good stuff. But if it's just like Matt Fitton and Nick Briggs, it's going to be average.
It's like people already want Eighth Doctor to return because of how good Paul McGann is, and it's Russell T Davies.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I'm down for. I want that.
You know what I just noticed? I like how Harbo deleted his tweet on the companion. I just noticed that he did that.
Oh,
I like how instead of just being like, I changed my mind. I think my point wasn't valid. He instead had to go, God. Instead he had to go, God. Every time someone makes an opinion, they just
I just can't have my opinion.
Why do I have to have so much backlash for having an opinion?
So
everyone
here's something interesting. Has that. I said the second she was announced, Rusty Davies is going to make her LGBT. And actually, when they're doing the questions, she's wearing an LGBT pin.
And also, there's comments saying that, and Russell T Davies has liked those comments, so it's possible.
Well, yeah, that's not entirely accurate because he likes pretty much every comment, as far as I know.
That's true. Or not all of them. Some of them he tells them to fuck off, and it's
of course. But it's like he likes a lot of the comments, even if they aren't true, as long as they're like supportive.
There was someone that said, polite. There was someone that said, "Oh my God, is the next gonna be a bloody LGBT black trans wheelchair user?" And
he's like fuck off. Please. I saw that on Twitter. Did someone send it here, or did I see that on Twitter? Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. Okay. Anyway, someone asked me, Chad, Sky, how far are you in How I Met Your Mother? I remember you tweeting about like season 4 and the weird bad trans jokes people love in that show. As I said, I've watched it like genuinely like around 10 times. In my rewatch, taking my notes, I'm halfway through season 2 so far, and but there are many transphobic jokes in the entire show, so I probably reference some later on in the show. The clip I posted was from season it was season 1. I think it was season 1. Yeah, no, it was season 2. Was the slaps giving episode? Yeah, not slaps giving.
So, Sky, given that that's what you're watching, like Neil Patrick Harris is going to be in the show. That's so exciting, right?
It is exciting. No, it's like something that I find really fascinating as well, because I remember an interview with Colby Smulders, who plays Robin in the show, and she also plays Maria Hill in the Marvel films, and someone asked her which of the two she gets recognized for the most, and she actually said, well, actually, usually it's How I Met Your Mother, especially like in Portugal when I was there, everyone knew me from How I Met Your Mother, not really from, Avengers, and she thought that was like really weird, considering like the just this TV show sitcom, like the level of popularity of that, and Neil Patrick Harris was like the show wasn't supposed to be about him, but he's the face of How I Met Your Mother in a lot of ways. He's the most
He's
well-known
the
character.
Joey of that show.
Well,
Yeah, but the
yeah,
Joey
he's the
that
most
is, but he's like the most, the character they focus on the most. He's not like Joey that has like way less character than someone like Ross or Rachel. Like he's the Ross of How I Met Your Mother in a way. And like everyone who sees that Neil Patrick Harris, they think of Barney, they think of that. And so it's just like that. It is such a huge thing to have such a huge name actor for Doctor Who, especially one who isn't British.
Neil Patrick Harris has a lot of like, you know, well used gifs online. You know, he's a gif machine.
Also, he's like one of the most charismatic and charming actors I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
And also,
I don't know if you've seen.
I loved what he said, and Neil Patrick Harris was in the Whoopi Goldberg interview about Doctor Who, and he was saying the reason why he did it is because of Russell.
Mm-hmm. Well, and one thing that I really, because you said about his charisma, Jab, because he hosted a lot of Tony Awards. His hosting of the Tony Awards is always super fun because he's like, he knows how to like sing really well, and he's very much like someone who can deal with like an audience, like being on stage, and it's always like the most engaging thing. Unfortunately, when he hosted the Oscars, it wasn't as good, but he does have that like immense charisma around him where people just like him with the way he is.
Could you imagine like there's a scene where the Doctor's like trying to get answers out of the Celestial Toymaker and he's just singing?
I need Neil Patrick Harris to sing in the 60th.
Well, there's already we've already seen from the leaks. There's a scene of them dancing in the street, which is great.
Oh yeah, that was that.
I think what's happening in that scene is where like the Doctor's trying to go on like what's going on, and he just starts dancing. And he's like, "What the?"
Yeah, he just grabs him and starts dancing, and it's like I'm not sure if that would be like a full-on musical scene, but I need a full-on musical scene with Neil Patrick Harris.
Once again, just let's not forget Russell T Davies, Rachel Talalay, David Tennant, Neil Patrick Harris, all working on the same thing. It's like, how could you possibly be pessimistic?
Yeah,
and then
these are all.
Then you have Catherine Tate, Bernard Cribbins. Bernard Cribbins' last role.
Oh, that's going to be emotional.
What's her name? Is it Jacqueline King? Her name is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Jacqueline
she's obviously returning. Whoever the person doing the score will be talented.
Oh yeah, that's something that they haven't announced yet, right? I'm curious.
Yeah,
what's going to be.
Considering they haven't confirmed the costume's been done yet, my bet is that the composer is going to be announced on the 23rd.
Interesting.
That's my bet.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see if it's Murray Gold or not.
I would like for Murray Gold to do the 60th and then someone else do the rest of RTD2, just because I would like someone else to give like a try at it, but I also want the style of Murray for the anniversary.
It does make sense to have Murray do the Tennant stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's also like it's a celebration of the show. He's been such a huge part of like New Who. He worked on New Who for 10 seasons, so I'd very much like.
I would love if
him back.
I would love if they did, like, let's say for example there is a scene where Tennant regenerates into Ncuti Gatwa, right? I would love if Murray Gold and whoever the next composer after him is does like a collaboration where they work together.
That would be great.
Transitions into each other.
Yeah, like mixing the style of Murray Gold and this new composer, like with the style of the music of the next era. I think that could be phenomenal. Just real quick, Neil Patrick Harris hosted the Oscars. I think it was 2015. There's a very infamous bit where he's naked on stage. Well, no, it's not naked. He's in his underwear on stage, and it is a very awkward Oscars award ceremony. People did not like him hosting the Oscars. But if you see any of the videos of him hosting the Tony Awards, he's phenomenal. There's a lot of them on YouTube, so yeah.
Even if the narrative is all about him trying to work out who he is, like many leaks suggest. Nothing we've seen so far indicates the aim to secure the future of the franchise and guarantee its success for years to come. It very much comes across.
Are you retarded? What the fuck are you on about?
They're not trying to guarantee the future of the show, except that they're gonna have Russell T Davies continue on after the 60th to run the show with one very well-known and respected actor worldwide. Other than that, really not anything trying to secure it.
What does the Disney Plus distribution deal mean to you, Harbo?
Yeah, he said it was a worry in the earlier in the video, which doesn't really make sense, but whatever. But it's just like he doesn't really see it from the other side. It's just like, oh, it's Disney. It's bad because it's Disney. It's not seeing like it's like a really big lack of nuance, I guess.
As the BBC saying, let's just go back to what we already know works. Davis is bringing back most of the people he originally worked with on his era of the show, such as Julie Gardner, Jane Tranter and Phil Collinson. It's gone so far that people are...
Can I just say those are the only 3 people?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Can I just say that now? Those are the only 3 people.
And he's also saying he's gone so far that people are even saying that Murray Gold is gonna come back. It's all like Murray Gold did the score for the show for 10 seasons. I don't know, man. It seems so bad faith. Should be like, RTD is just relying on the people who...
No, give me new things.
It's like you don't need to do everything new, but also RTD is doing a lot of new things. He's the first mainline black doctor in canon. Like, I don't know.
And the actor is gay as well. Like, that is a gay actor.
We are getting new stuff. Like, we are getting new stuff. It's just that this is the 60th, so of course we're going to have old stuff in it.
Yeah. I think if Russell had picked up the show after series 12, he did series 13 and then the anniversary, no one would be upset at the Doctor regenerating to David Tennant for the 60th. It is just like, oh, he's coming back and he's going back in time, he's only doing it for nostalgia. It's like, no, it's the 60th, you gotta remember, this is an anniversary special.
Like the way I'm sort of seeing it is that the 60th...
you could almost say Russell T Davies is back in black.
Sure. What are we gonna say to
I think the 60th is going to be like where they sort of blow all the nostalgia stuff, all the connective ties to the series, and series 14 is going to be like where that's going to be like kind of a fresh start. Like that's how I think it's going to be. Like,
yeah,
it just makes more sense.
I feel like series 14 is going to be a very good jumping on point for a lot of people. It's
almost like Russell T Davies is a bulletproof, well-proven, successful showrunner of many different things, including Doctor Who. It's going to be really successful.
Also, to me, it's very disingenuous to use these names because Julie Garner, for example, she's one of the co-creators of Bad Wolf. So he's going to work with her no matter what, because that co-production deal. It's not the case of, BBC are rehiring her specifically.
Also, it's almost like he wants to work with her because she's really good at her job.
Yeah, like she was pivotal.
These people are reliable to work with.
Well, there's a reason why there's a lot of
It's almost like not just because of back in the day, but also because since then, Bad Wolf Productions, without Russell T Davies, has produced great television.
Yeah, and it's like there's a reason why a lot of filmmakers like to work with the same crew for a lot of it in terms of like cast and crew. Like you see Mike Flanagan, it's usually the same people in his shows, despite being very different shows at points.
This is such a unique opportunity. You're having an independent studio produce a show for a massive distribution. Like this is unheard of. It's amazing.
It's also like, to go back to Julie Garner, for example, Kylie Minogue appearing in Doctor Who. She made that happen. So it's like you want these names back. You need someone like Julie Gardner who has that type of authority that Russell T Davies has, and is able to put a foot down and even confront him when he goes off the rails a bit, because he needs someone to keep him in check as well.
Even expecting Murray Gold to return as a composer. It feels like they're trying to replicate the production staff of what's commonly seen as Doctor Who's golden era, as if...
Okay, where's Euros Lynn? Where's Graham Harper? Where's where's all the other actors?
Like, we're getting 2 new directors as well, as has been announced in the Doctor Who magazine.
Yeah.
Like, does Harbo just think like RTD is rewatching that final video of like all the production cast from when like...
And Russell T Davies said he brought back Rachel Talalay, who's from the Moffat era, specifically Capaldi.
I was gonna mention Rachel, but I didn't remember if she had directed any RTD episodes. It was only Moffat.
No. Her first was Dark Water.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not just from the golden era, it's also from Moffat's era, which wasn't run by...
It's from the lower era of New Who, let's be honest.
She basically only did the Capaldi finales, really, and Twice Upon a Time.
Right. Tin, what were you saying?
Like, you know the 500 Miles video where like all the cast members like line up and like the names show up and it's like them leaving. Does Harper just think RTD's getting all of them back, like writing down their names? And then, get them back,
He's like, oh, so handy. There's a video showing me every person I gotta bring back.
Like even Sue from catering, get her back.
Yeah, just getting the same people, getting the same set janitor. Be like, the janitor's like, what? No, I'm not like I run like a company. He's like, no, you gotta be a janitor. We need you. The success of Doctor Who depends on you.
If they're hitting a reset button.
The editing in this video is so weird. Hold on, let me rewind because that was weird.
It's pretty lazy.
Yeah.
Production staff of what's commonly seen as Doctor Who's golden era, as if they're hitting a reset button.
You mean they are kind every change of era in the show?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
The thing with Doctor Who, it kind of hits a reset button as like a jumping on point every few years, like.
Yeah, remember when they had a reset button in 1970, and it was one of the most successful periods of the show.
Yeah, and I mean,
it's like it's been almost 20 years since the start of New Who. You kind of need a reset button, like a firm one.
Yeah, you don't really want or expect people to like have watched all 13 seasons and all the specials to be able to watch the show now.
Well, I don't know. How about the biggest reset button ever had in 2005? And who did that? Russell T Davies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How successful was that? Very successful.
Yeah, I mean, Moffat did like 2 reset buttons. And there was like 1 reset from Chibnall as well, with Series 11.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's it's normal. It happens every few seasons. I don't know. It's like it's been 5 years since this Chibnall era started. You might need, especially if you are gonna get such a big new audience in the show, because of Ncuti Gatwa and people who are watching because of him. It would be very important to have like a jumping on point for these people who have like don't really know anything about Doctor Who prior, but they're watching because of Ncuti, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This even extends to really basic things, such as the usage of music in a video of Gatwa explaining Doctor Who.
Well, shut the fuck up.
And I know
What are you? What?
They're not going to have anything new scored. Let's be real.
Wait. What is the point he's making?
So they're using that specific music, but it's more likely the fact that that's the only RTD era music that's available.
Oh, right. They use like the Tennant theme, right? In the video,
they used the Series 4 theme, and in the new companion video they just did, they used this Eccleston early Tennant theme.
And even when they revealed her, they used the Smith theme. They used like the Series 5 theme. So like, it's really a non-controversy point.
I think it's just using iconic Doctor Who music and being like, "Hey, we need to use some music in this video."
I don't even think it's that deep. I think they're just using music.
No, I think they thought we need to use music. Let's pick out the tracks and like it's the most iconic ones. They're not going to use
Chibnall Who music, are they?
Well, yeah.
It's not even that. The point is you can't use this against it because they're not going to have any new score made anyway.
Yeah,
this is a non-point.
Yeah, if we don't even know who the new composer is, or if it is going to be Murray Goat again or whatever. Like, they're not going to compose, especially just for like casting announcement. It's such a small thing.
And also, just to put things in perspective, it doesn't fucking matter what music they use in the announcements. They're not part of the show.
Yeah,
who cares? Why do you care?
It's not like this is even handled by RTD. He's not the one picking what music to use in these videos. It's like the social media, marketing teams,
Russell is the one editing all these videos. He's the one editing.
He's the editor of the social media account.
It's like look at it from a broader perspective. You're not going to use the Moffat era music or the Chibnall era music. You're going to use the Russell T Davies era music because it's more fitting.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Also, like, if we're going by like how like announcement videos have done, like the announcement video for Geordie had a fucking shitty JPEG of Tennant's TARDIS in the background.
No, honestly,
I
think we should start right there. I think Jeb, I think you're giving them even more credit than they deserve in that regard. I don't even think they're doing that. I think they're just searching up Doctor Who theme and playing it. I think it's literally that simple.
I don't think that's the case because this marketing team.
No, I agree with Jeb. I think it is to do with it. It is a Russell era music, so it feels more suited. I feel like that is something they probably decided.
I mean, for the stuff that's for the stuff that's made by the BBC as part of the marketing, yeah. But in terms of the external stuff, like when Millie Gibbons appeared on that show, it's not that, you know, thought out. It's just play the music.
Well, the point, yeah,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing as like I remember.
They're not going to use Chibnall music.
So I remember on the Graham Norton show, there was a segment where they were doing something to do with the Doctor Who theme related with some instrument, and this was during the Chibnall era, but they played the RTD theme, and it's just purely they wouldn't have thought too deeply about it. They just sort of searched it up and played it. It's like very simple.
This part might sound like a nitpick or a reach, but it's simply indicative of the wider problem. The background music of the video is the Series 4 theme music, which seems fine on its own, sure, but almost all the images shown are purely from the Davis era. It almost creates an impression of this new...
I mean, he's been watching the Davis era, right, to prepare for the role, which I guess makes sense.
He's been watching Classic Who too. His favourite episode is Time Lash.
Oh, yeah, so that I'm going to have a review of that coming out on the advent calendar.
New era completely disregarding the Moffat and Chibnall eras, as if it's still.
That's not what's happening.
Yeah, Russell got him to watch an episode from Tom Baker, Colin Baker, and David Tennant.
Right. So it's just like these are the Doctors I want you to draw inspiration from. That doesn't mean that the other Doctors are just not part of the show.
He just picked. I feel like Russell picked an episode that he wrote and then 2 other random ones.
Well, he didn't write
Maybe
Blink.
He had a reason.
Well, no, he didn't write Blink.
But it's an episode. But it's an episode from his era. You know, like that's what I mean.
But sure, but I very much doubt he picked random episodes. That doesn't sound like Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, like I guess not random is not the right word. Like I think he did specifically pick for a reason. I think there was a reason behind the episodes he probably picked.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he picked episodes probably of the Doctors he wants Ncuti to draw inspiration from. It's not like he's saying that the Doctors there aren't those ones or just not Doctors for real. No, it's just saying these are the ones that he should focus on.
If I were to hazard a guess, he probably picked Blink because of the popularity. He probably picked the Sontaran Experiment because it's an episode that highlights the sonic screwdriver a lot, and it has, you know, as Tom Baker, it has Sarah Jane, it has the Sontarans, and then with Time Lash, it's probably because of Ncuti being quite a flamboyant actor. Mm-hmm. So is Colin Baker. Might have something to do with that.
Yeah.
Still 2009 and the end of time hasn't happened yet. It's frankly a bit bizarre. The erasure of the 2 eras in between has also...
The erasure.
No erasure going on.
RTD has marketed Power of the Doctor better than Chibnall ever did. So I don't care.
is a director.
Yeah, she's director from the Moffat era. It's dumb. This point is just like it's saying things. I don't care what you're saying, Harbaugh.
Being shown with an almost overnight change of branding and marketing.
Yeah, it's a new era. So you know what's funny? Because Neb showed that to me. I don't know if y'all remember when I posted that on Twitter. It got actually a few likes. I think Jay ended up retweeting it. But the Series 5 logo was announced and was started to be used before End of Time was aired. It was like 2 months before End of Time. So So it's like, okay, man, this happens when it changes the era of the show. When it's like when you're changing showrunners. When the last episode of an era airs, I don't know why you'd keep like showing as if you're still in that era. You're gonna be like, no, we're moving forward. This is what's happening from now on, as opposed to just looking back at what happened. And it's not like the social media teams didn't like share like fan art and everything about like Power of the Doctor. There was still Power of the Doctor post. It's just mostly focused on what's coming after, especially because it is a regeneration episode, so people are intrigued as what's gonna happen after that episode. It's just so dumb.
Shut up.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Just random Twitter and YouTubers are better at marketing.
Pretty much immediately after the end of Power of the Doctor, the new...
Pretty much after the era ended, they changed the thing to fit the new era. It's fucking wild. I know, I never would have expected that.
New logo was revealed.
Sorry.
the Chibnall era also reveal its stuff before the Christmas special.
I'm not sure. Let me check, because let's see, Doctor Who series 13, series 11 logo announcement. Let's see if I can find it. Series 7 logo reviewed was February 20th, 2018, apparently.
So that was before, I think. I think probably left in 2018.
So Twice Upon a Time was December 25th, 2017. So it was like a couple months after.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to have been in February. Yeah, mid-February for Series 11. But I mean, sure. I mean, it's also like, it's not like it needs to, it needed to market all that well, I guess, compared to like other eras, because it had the big boost in having a woman doctor for the first time. That was like very good publicity. It was everything everyone was talking about. So basically they could take their time. Also, like, they took a long time to do like the Chibnall era. It was there were some big periods of like not many things happening. Anyway.
They changed the logo 2 days after.
I miss Sasha the One, best mastered. Someone just said that in chat. Colin, what do you think of that statement?
Can we ban them from chat?
Look, I respect opinions. If you miss that master, that's okay. But
I don't.
You have Stockholm syndrome. Get that checked.
Oh, Colin, did you end up finishing Iron Fist? Because I know you were watching it.
I'm joking.
I haven't started season 2 yet.
He's a lot better in that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, because I really
he's decent in season 1.
I really like
season 2.
Yeah, the entire show is better in season 2. But yeah, I like him in Iron Fist.
I haven't gone back to watch those shows because I got to like episode 4 of Jessica Jones season 2, and I'm like, I'm not vibing with this.
Season 2 is hard to get through. Honestly, you could skip it.
And then I just watched, and then I just watched season 3 of Daredevil, and I'm like,
yes. You could honestly skip season 2 of Jessica Jones. There is there is important context for season 3, but it's all like explained in season 3.
I'll get to it eventually.
I gave up on Jessica Jones. I couldn't get through season 3.
You didn't know season 3 came out. You gave up during season 2, Jeb.
I watched all season 2, and I watched like 2 episodes of season 3.
No, you did. You told me you never watched anything of season 3, and that you didn't even know that season 3 was out. I talked to you about the Netflix shows quite a bit. Early days of ECUM server.
Yeah, and you know that things change.
Daredevil was great.
But also season 3 is also decent, so you're just cringe.
I just can't. Season 2 was just that bad.
Season 2 is really bad, yes. Was the best master in your opinion, Colin? You're gonna say John Sandwich.
Delgado.
I haven't watched any of Delgado, so
I can answer this question.
But they weren't asking you; they were asking me.
Yeah, they asked Colin. Well, they asked Colin, but I imagine they mean Colin.
Maybe there's a combination between me and him.
Yeah,
and this is without seeing any Gardago. I can't.
Delgado.
Geldargo sounds like a bloody ice cream.
Yeah.
It is John Sim without seeing any of the Master during the Pertwee era.
Anyways, let me. Can you repeat the question again and ask it to me, because I'm more important.
Who's the best master in your opinion, Connor?
Derek Jacobi.
Oh, that's a good take. Is it a Big Finish?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's both TV and Big Finish.
I've heard he's great in Big Finish, so that's cool.
Yeah. Especially the Master of Callus box set. That shit is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
My favorite is probably John Sim, but I really love Missy. I really love Missy.
Oh, John Sim's great. But I'm not. I think if it was just Series 3, I would say John Sim.
Right.
I think he's the. For me, Series 3 John Sim is peak Master, but I like him after that, but not as much as I do in Series 3, whereas with Roger Delgado and Derek Jacobi, they're always great in everything.
Still think John Sim is superior to Missy and Dewan.
I would agree with that.
I think obviously Missy is more inconsistently written, but I really like Missy. She's really fun. I really like the actress.
Gomez.
Yeah, Michelle Gomez is phenomenal.
Gomez.
I really like her even in the bad episodes. She's just really entertaining to watch.
I can bear her because I can bear her because of Michelle Gomez, but I can't stand the way Moffat writes her especially in The Magician's Apprentice. She's
so nice.
Ugh.
That person keeps saying Sasha's the best all around. Perfectly crazy. You know, I'm gonna move on. Let's not talk about Sasha Dewan. You can have your opinion.
Sasha Dewan's the worst one. Sasha Dewan's the worst one. He's worse than Eric Roberts. Yeah. He's worse than James Dreyfus. He's worse than bloody. Who would be the next worst after that? I can't remember.
So anyway, this video.
Milo Parker.
Along with a bunch of interviews and pieces of marketing about the next era.
Yeah.
Interviews? What?
Hang on.
About the next era. This is also regarding Ncuti Gatwa. It wasn't David Tennant. So you're worried. I'm so confused. Sorry, go Jeb.
Yeah, I was going to make this point. How can you say that the future's in jeopardy in that if they're already heavily marketing Gatwa as the next phase immediately out of the gate?
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
We've seen more. In terms of promotional stuff, we've seen more of Gatwa than Tennant.
Yeah, and the point here is like it's erasing the latest series because it's already focusing on the next one. But it's also like okay, I know you're not making this point anymore, but you were earlier, and this completely contradicts what you were saying about like the worries with Ncuti and his era, and how like David Tennant was just putting a lot of pressure on Ncuti, and how there are gonna be people who come back for David Tennant but not for Ncuti. It's a lot of pressure on him. It's like, but the marketing is all focused on Ncuti Gatwa. I don't know, man.
We don't have like a Catherine Tate, David Tennant talking about the show. We have immediately the new companion and Ncuti Gatwa. I can't remember her name. I keep forgetting that.
Millie Gibson,
yeah. We immediately have those two doing a video asking questions about her experiences with the show.
About her getting a spray tan when she got told she got the part.
She's got nostalgia for the Smith era, and I'm
like, oh god,
we're getting old.
How is it that I now feel old? I'm the youngest out of all of us, for God's sake.
Why is it such a
I'm 24.
Why is it such a British female thing to get a spray tan? It's always raining where you are.
Don't ask me. No clue.
The only way is Essex is to blame, I feel.
Yeah.
She's from the north, right?
To be fair, some women can pull it off. To be fair.
And plus, to be fair, she's like from the north, right? They're fucking weird up here.
No, southern people do that too.
Yeah,
I can't get that.
We have a region up here where
Essex is literally in the south, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Sorry,
what the fuck are you on about, Tim?
I should clarify. I failed geography.
Like to put it this way.
Tin, I've had 4 drinks, and how am I making more sense than you?
I mean, it makes it Rule 1, as we know. So anyway,
Editron's from London. Spray tan's like an everyday thing.
From south of London. Editron's so south of London that he's bordering on being from France.
Whereas I'm so north, I'm bordering on Scotland.
Yes. Do you like to French kiss the spray tanned girls, Callum?
Oh dear lord. So let's continue on with the
video.
Yeah. So anyway.
Interviews and pieces of marketing about the next era. Obviously, it's capitalizing upon the momentum gained within the episode to continue garnering interest.
So you know why they're doing it. Okay, thank you. There shouldn't be a conversation after that. You realize why it's happening. I don't understand how your brain works, Harbo.
But the corpse of the Chibnall era was still warm. Fans never had a chance to...
Oh my god, this is so dumb.
It was still warm. Can we just keep going? This point is stupid.
I don't even want to address it. From the preview trailer to all the marketing materials, it felt
it's like saying including David Tennant in Power of the Doctor is...
promote
Well, it's like
dare Russell promote.
It's like saying the fact that they included the next Doctor in the regeneration scene in Power of the Doctor is it's a problem because the corpse of the Chibnall era was still warm. It's like no, they should wait until the next episode. It's so dumb.
Though, to be fair, to describe it as a corpse is very fitting.
Yeah.
I just want to have a bit of a hot take here. I think that the Chibnall who died many years ago. Let's just say that.
I think the Chibnall who died in terms of like the main fandom at the end of Legend of Sea Devils. I think that was for them the final nail in the coffin.
I think in terms of the general public, it was like 4 episodes in.
Yeah, general public wise, it's very early.
Oh yeah,
I
think Jeb is mentioning people who are actually fans of the show.
Yeah,
the Legend of Sea Devils were really. Yeah, the Legend of Sea Devils. Even Chibnall fans are like Sea Devils, man. That episode.
Okay. Sea Devils was shit. Everyone agrees that the Sea Devils. It was the one episode that everyone seemed to agree on was garbage.
Oh well, Samuel Davis thought it was average, so there you go.
Well, he's wrong.
He's already pivoting its entire focus towards episode.
Do you know what Samuel Davis tweeted today? They made like a pickup line of like, "Are you Gridlock? Because I want to fuck the cat," or something like that.
What?
I was like, what? What's happening?
Because to be fair, the woman in that episode did fuck the male pilot cat to make kittens.
See, bestiality is even an RTD here.
Yeah.
He
represents zoophiles in his show. Isn't that fun?
To be fair, I don't know if that does that kind of bestiality when.
Oh no, it definitely doesn't. These are like sentient species.
It's a humanoid cat. It's a humanoid.
Yeah, these are sentient species. They have they rationale and consciousness.
Because for some reason, this is something that my friend Dylan Lord Slaw said many years ago that I thought was really weird. Is how he's just like, is it implied that a human fucked a cat to make that person? And I'm like, no, I don't think that's what happened. I think the cats evolved to be like us the same way that we evolved from monkeys. I'm pretty sure that's what it's implying.
Yeah, I think it's just a different type of mammal humanoid that just looks like cats. And the thing that happens is like, because if it was like Gamora, for example, in the Guardians of the Galaxy, she's an alien. She's literally from a different species than Peter Quill, but because she looks like a human, people aren't against it. But if it's like if it is a different species of like it looks like a cat, it's weird. Obviously, I'm not saying that people should fuck animals, but my point being, if it is like sentient and it can think, it can consent, I don't really see the issue.
Sky, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad someone's finally standing up.
Thank you. The humanoid cats need my defending of them. Yeah.
I just think it's so funny. It's just like someone genuinely thinks some like ginger house cat fucked a woman and got her pregnant, and that's how that character exists.
Did you know Lord Slar and I are enemies in terms of the football context?
Oh, is he a Southampton fan?
He is.
Oh, cringe lord.
Yeah.
Even though he's from Newcastle.
Well, that's funny because me and Sky are practically enemies as well.
I mean, we can ignore Everton because even Everton ignores Everton. So
everyone ignores Everton.
My mate's stepdad is British and he loves Everton. So there you go.
Oh, I'm sorry for him.
Poor him.
Yeah.
He even like, I think it was like at one point in time his password was something like Everton 1123 because they won a game or something.
They won a game.
Pivoting its entire focus towards episodes that won't even come out for another year. It's such a strange approch and almost like an erasure.
Why is it so strange?
They're marketing the show they want people to watch. It's so strange. People think it's strange because Chibnall was like, I will not tell anyone to watch my show. I will be radio silent. I will release the name of the episode 1 week before the episode's out.
Not to be mean spirited, but the expression on Chibnall's face is how he marketed the show.
Yeah.
She's just like, just extreme apathy, yeah.
Chibnall era, barely even acknowledging its existence. Hell, it was already in.
This RTD marketed Part of the Doctor better than Chibnall. Stop. Please stop. Please stop saying this.
Fan art on Twitter, and there still is today.
Yes.
So.
Issue going into Power of the Doctor, because we knew more.
Yeah, there was even bits in interviews where it's just like, there's certain questions we're not going to answer now because we still need to focus on Jodie and she's going to have her final episode and that's what's upcoming. And then by the time we get to next year, you'll be sick of seeing us.
Yeah.
Which
his next
is accurate.
Yeah. His next point here. I don't know, because you started talking, Connor. I don't think you heard what he says. He basically counters himself.
Existence. Hell, it was already an issue going into Power of the Doctor, because we knew more about the 60th anniversary than we did about the 13th Doctor's final episode.
Yeah, that's the issue. Chibnall didn't mark it.
Yeah, that's not a Russell problem. That's a Chibnall problem.
Yeah, he didn't market his episode.
You see, this was Russell's fault, but actually it was Chibnall's fault. So it's
how dare Russell?
Remember when Stephen Moffat accidentally did more marketing for Flux than Chibnall by revealing that Weeping Angels were in it?
Oh yeah.
Like, this is the thing. Russell only announced what he had to for filming purposes.
Yeah, it's because it would leak, and if it leaks, it's an even like bigger like in terms of like speculation, people will be like, "Oh my god, what do you mean Neil Patrick Harris is in Doctor Who?" If he announces it, it's already getting ahead of the curve and being like, "Okay, we're calling attention to it now, so that when people see it, it's no longer going to be as big of a deal, so that Power of the Doctor can still get the attention." Because people were going to find out anyway, but if it like if people found out closer to Power of the Doctor, it would be a bigger issue, especially with like radio silence from Doctor Who talking about these castings.
Yeah, it's like they only announced for stuff they were filming in public. Like they've talked about how like they filmed a lot of stuff in like indoors, like there's a lot of stuff done there. So like they only announced for stuff that they need to. Otherwise, other than that, it's perfectly fine. It's just what's the issue?
Yeah, I don't get it.
This all made
Power of the Doctor feel almost like a formality, because it was already being overshadowed. So to then double down on that overshadowing is a very...
It's not overshadowing. That is just... They're marketing the next phase of the show. Do you think you're just not going to do anything? It is a new era.
It's also not a problem to overshadow now, because now we're looking to the future. So what's the problem?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not overshadowing, but it's like it's done. You don't need to market Power of the Doctor anymore. It's out.
You know it's so weird, because with End of Time, people were having the opposite problem in terms of they were having the opposite criticism of RTD, where they were saying he's overshadowing what's about to happen. And now they're saying he's overshadowing what's already happened.
People said that? I didn't.
You can't win.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That's
hilarious. You know the cafe scene, Sky, when he says some new man goes sauntering away. People thought that he was trying to
we've covered videos that say that dumb shit. It always annoyed me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's shit criticism.
Very questionable choice. Let's return to the nostalgia issue. A lot of big franchises these days are turning to nostalgia and so-called member...
Yeah, but the difference is this is written by Russell T Davies, who's a really talented writer.
And I mean, I'm sorry,
the problem
but
the problem with the nostalgia isn't inherently the nostalgia. The problem with the nostalgia is that it's poorly written.
Well, it's our last stream was talking about Top Gun Maverick. That film is phenomenal, especially the way it handles its connections with the first film.
Top Gun Maverick is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how when people talk about the complaining about bad nostalgia in media, they tend to forget things like Top Gun Maverick and Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
And all of these other things that have actually been really successful in doing nostalgia.
Yeah. Berries to appeal to fans, rather than committing to original and creative ideas.
Yeah.
How do you know that's not original and creative ideas? You haven't seen the fucking show, you knob.
Seen the episode. The series after the anniversary specials is going to be new.
Let me say this. How is it literally not original idea for a Doctor to have a previous face in a new regeneration? That is literally an original idea.
We've only seen it.
Yeah, that's true. That's
we've only seen it once with the curator, and that was only implied. It wasn't. It wasn't confirmed.
It wasn't confirmed, but this is like a fully fledged story about a Doctor returning to a previous face.
Yeah.
It's a very original idea. Like, I don't see how
that is new. Just because the actor has been in the show before doesn't mean it's not new.
Yeah.
It's like saying fucking Matt Smith regenerating into Capaldi was just member berries because Capaldi was in Fires of Pompeii.
So I just want to make a point about something. This goes broader than just this video. This is something that I think is a common problem with certain people. Is that what they will say is that this idea is bad because I, in my head, can't create a scenario where it makes a good story, forgetting the fact that other writers can think of things that you can't. And it's this common problem of people only assuming
most ideas can be well written. Really.
Yes, but it's this common issue of people not understanding that things can be good because other people know things that you don't.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. People seem to make equations based only on what they know rather than what they don't know.
Yeah,
and they don't account for the fact that there's things they don't know.
Well, I say that a lot. I think especially with the MCU, when it's like new thing coming out and people talk like, oh, like not Atlantis, what's it called? Telecon, something like that. It's not called Atlantis in Wakanda Forever, but it's virtually just Atlantis. And I was thinking, oh man, how are they going to do this? Like, I couldn't see a way where it would fit in the MCU canon, but I also said maybe the writers will come up with something I haven't thought of. And I say that a lot in terms of new films, because writers can come up with ideas you haven't had, because ideas are basically infinite. You can have new and different ideas in terms of how to execute them, as long as you do them well. Like, you could do anything, and so like a writer could potentially come up with like an answer for something that I never thought would be possible. Like with the Eternals, for example. Let me just finish my point, Connor.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
With Eternals, I remember before the film came out, everyone was being like, "Oh man, like why didn't they intervene when Thanos came and everything?" When the film came out, I was actually, this is actually a creative and interesting idea that makes sense with every character established as to why they didn't get involved with Thanos. And it's like Chloe Zhao found a way to make it make sense. Whether you agree or disagree, but in chat or whatever. My point being, there are many ways where like your like tunnel vision way of viewing like something that could be a problem can actually be a really cool and innovative idea that a writer can write around and make it really special, especially when it is Russell T Davies, who has been known for writing some really creative and hard ideas, such as like the Time War. So I don't know.
I just want to add to that very briefly before Connor makes this point. Another example is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I couldn't think of how they bring back Phil Coulson in a way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, and
it's also when the first time I watched The Stolen Earth and I saw that cliffhanger, I thought, I can't imagine how in the hell are they going to get out of that? And then they actually did it, and they did it in a way that I didn't think of.
And here's what's so interesting about that idea. There's a way you can have it. Like, imagine if it was in Stolen Earth, Matt Smith did appear then from that regeneration. How cool would it be? Like, he still, like, the energy still went into the hand, which it can happen. They can make that thing. And David Tennant was the Meta Crisis Doctor, and we had Matt Smith and David Tennant in Journey's End. I would like to see that episode.
That could be really cool, like what if type thing.
In an alternate reality. Yeah, in an alternate reality.
Back in the day, Big Finish did a series called Unbound, and it was great, and they could bring that back if they wanted to and do all that stuff.
That would be a really cool idea, I think.
Like one of the most popular ones is they did a thing of what if David Warner was the Third Doctor instead of John Pertwee, and that he's got a whole, alternate universe Doctor run as that character, and unfortunately he's passed away now, but that was really cool. He was in Cold War.
About safety and familiarity. Star Trek has a 3-season show featuring everyone from the next generation, but written atrociously. Star Wars is constantly leaning into nostalgic cameos and settings with movies and shows like Rogue One, The Bad Batch, and Kenobi.
Alright, how about...
Because it's written poorly.
Yeah, how about a show like Legion that has Professor Xavier show up and it's done really well? You're not going to talk about like shows that do like have characters that have shown up before and done well, because you're just using examples where it's done badly. It can be done well.
Harbour, listen to me. I know you're not in the call, but Harbour, listen to me. The reason why we criticize those things is mainly due to the writing, and we point out the fact that these things are trying to base themselves in nostalgia as a sort of coy to make up for the fact that the writing is so poor.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't feel like that's what Russell's doing at all. He's using these elements to build something going forward with Gatwa and then with the next season.
You know what just reminded me of, Callum? Do you remember when Harbour was on EDAR 20 and Harbour was having all those takes about AEW that were just really stupid, and how he was only bringing up he was only bringing up the fact that there were people on the roster that were nostalgia acts, but he forgot to mention all of the other things that were there that weren't. and were
imagine
successful.
now with the fact that MGF has just won the world championship literally today.
He's literally the biggest, the biggest star in the business, and Harbo just wouldn't mention it because it doesn't fit.
MGF is the biggest star in pro wrestling right now in terms of the bubble of pro wrestling.
It doesn't fit this narrative that Harbo has that it's all about nostalgia, because for some reason they decided that that's what it was, because there were people in it that had been there for a while.
Just because AEW was bringing back a lot of like WWE guys, CM Punk at the time, all these like people that a lot of people recognize due to their popularity in WWE.
But also forgot to mention that all these people that he brought up did new things that they hadn't done before, and that's another key detail that he forgot to mention.
The Punk's run was really good because it gave a new layer to the history of Punk and the people it affected in the wrestling business.
To divert that back to Doctor Who, it's the same thing that could happen with Tennant and Russell T Davies. They could do something completely new with the same character, and it's totally could be successful.
Yeah, so most of what Harbo said was really stupid, and we said it at the time when he was on.
And what he's saying right now in this video is also really stupid.
Yeah, he's not thinking it through. Yeah.
I was drawing
I'm very drunk.
I was drawing a fake mustache on David Tennant while you're talking.
Doctor Who feels like it's facing the risk of following down the same path, which might trap it in a greatest hits act for years to come, and ultimately hurt.
But it won't. It's going to be great, and it's going to be different.
It's only for the anniversary, 3 episodes, and then a fresh start.
Harbo is like in the most conspiracy theory mode right now. He's overshadowed. It's after the corpse is still burning from the Chibnall era.
There's not a single piece of work in Russell T Davies' entire career, Doctor Who or outside of Doctor Who, where greatest hits compilation could be used to describe it. It's never been that way.
And here's the thing. I imagine in Anniversary there is going to be elements that we recognise in terms of the chemistry between David Tennant and Catherine Tate, and their dialogue being quite familiar with what it was before, because it's an anniversary special and these are characters that we know before. But that doesn't mean it's just for nostalgia purposes. It's because it makes sense for these people to in a way that they're used to in a lot of ways. Because here's the thing, I'm going to be really interested in see how Tennant performs with the context of the Smith era, the Capaldi era, and the Whittaker era, in comparison to what he was before then with the Tempest. I'm really interested in what Quantum Filter is going to be performance-wise.
This is a Tennant without the Time War.
True.
Going through the entire
but with Gallifrey being destroyed again, so I don't know how that's gonna turn out. Like thanks, Chibnall.
Well, there's a common fan theory that the Celestial Toymaker is either a Time Lord or related to the Time Lord, so it could be something to do with that. But who knows?
That'd be interesting if Russell made that canon.
I mean, what we do know is based on the original story is that he has power over TARDISes.
The show's legacy in the long run. Even the new logo is simply an updated version of the 70s.
It's like the old one.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Do you remember?
This is so.
Do you remember in 1996 when they brought back the John Pertwee logo and redesigned it for the TV movie, and it was really, really fucking good.
No, they did it for nostalgia, Connor. They did it for the fucking nostalgia. God damn it!
It's almost like it's a diamond anniversary, and it's fitting.
No, fuck you.
No,
fuck you. Further reliance on the past. And yes, I know it's diamond for the diamond anniversary, but they also brought back the same logo for the 30th anniversary, and last I checked, that wasn't a diamond anniversary.
Well, what benefits does that have?
What's that to do with this?
That's not at the fault of RTD. That's at the fault of Dimensions in Time. If that's your point.
Oh no, Jed's coming.
Don't say that. No, don't say that.
Those 3 words.
You can hear us.
Look, Stan, this heavily nostalgic approach is
this heavily nostalgic approach, as he shows Neil Patrick Harris, definitely a very nostalgic actor in the show. Sorry.
I would honestly, if I had a drinking game at the start of this, or for every time Harbo said nostalgia, I'd probably be dead by now.
such nostalgic approach. How from like 1998 until 2017, Big Finish used the John Pertwee Paul McGann logo. I don't know, maybe because it's a good design.
It's like it's also recognizable, right? You want something recognizable for your show.
Yeah.
And especially like because I don't really like the logo for any of the New Who eras like all that much. Like I think some of them are fine, some of them are like okay, but like I don't think any of them are like. I don't really think any of them are like very like you look at them, you think this is Doctor Who. You just say okay, this is a Doctor Who logo.
What about the fiery surfboard?
I always found I just find it very 2000s. I don't really like love it. Like
that's what's great about it. That's why I like it.
Well, I like it for like when I'm watching the episode and I see it, I'm like, yeah, it fits with the era, with the style of the era. I don't think it is like indicative of the show. When I see it, it doesn't remind me of the show. It reminds me of RTT.
Callum, that makes me feel really old now because that's basically the same thing we have with like the 80s logo, like the Peter Davison one, is it's very fitting of its time. And now that makes me feel old. Now the RTD logo is of its time and it's not current.
Yeah. I love the Russell logo.
Yeah, but like...
I love both of them, but I prefer the updated one they did for Tennant. I really love that logo a lot.
Yeah, the 60th logo is definitely the best.
They used it on all the marketing for Series 1 as well. The only place they don't use it is the title sequence.
Yeah, that is strange.
It's because the silver one was a placeholder, and they were supposed to have the fiery one the whole time, but they just didn't do the effects for it until the Runaway Bride.
Imagine it in like in like the next big imagine for New Who they do the box set stuff they do for Classic Who. Imagine in the Series 1 they replace it with the fiery one.
Well, because on the box sets they're using the Jodie Whittaker logo on all of them.
Please.
Oh God!
This logo.
Oh God! They have been. Oh yeah. God! They have been. Oh God!
Yeah. And Russell confirmed that's not going to change. That's going to be on all of them.
Why? What? No! Oh, that's so bad. The logo is shit. It's such a shit logo.
60th anniversary of Doctor Who, but that just highlights the issues of starting an entire new era with an anniversary celebration.
Also, can I say the editing of this video is very bland.
Yeah, it's just photos. But why is it an issue? It's not. You made up an issue. You're like, this is why an issue. It's an issue.
Also, again, this isn't on Russell T Davies. Chibnall chose to leave on his own accord.
Yeah.
If I were to say anything in Harbour's favor about the editing, the reason why it might be like that is because he has to produce a lot of videos in a short space of time for the algorithm.
I mean,
because he makes his primary source of income off YouTube, so he doesn't have much time to edit his stuff. He has to upload things very quickly.
I mean,
also, I
don't know. Maybe he could hire an editor if he's that pressed for time.
I don't think he can afford an editor.
I just want to make clear as well, I'm not blaming Chibnall explicitly for leaving when he wanted to, because the pandemic delayed a lot of plans. It's just a reality of the situation, is that this isn't on RTD.
The future of the show gets overshadowed by all the celebrations of the past. Daily. An easy way to avoid and combat that would have been to use Ncuti Gatwa's 14th Doctor in a series at the start of 2023.
You make an entire series and then the 60th anniversary.
Well,
it's impossible.
You're asking them to start production earlier than Russell T Davies was even, allowed to do the show.
And earlier than Ncuti Gatwa was free in terms of scheduling.
Yeah, this is why I suggest this video.
The moment Russell T Davies was announced, the reason why they did that is because eventually, a few weeks afterwards, he was going to start being seen in public filming the show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is why I suggest this video, because he just completely forgets the idea of scheduling and the fact that Ncuti was busy.
Very busy.
A lot of people seem to forget that.
If he's filming something else, I don't know.
He's a high-end demand actor, and he's busy.
I remember so many people on Twitter are having this stupid take of have they removed his mustache in the show? It's like, no, they haven't. The reason why his mustache is gone is because he's filming something else.
Yeah, he's been filming. Yeah, they started filming Sex Education season 4 not that long ago. Eric doesn't really have a mustache.
And it's like it's the same reason why Yasmin Finney isn't the companion. It's like she's busy with Heartstopper. It's like all people say now, they should have been the new ones. It's like they're busy. It's not.
A lot of people seem to think she was, even though they didn't announce her as a companion. Everyone seemed to assume she was. So I'm not sure why.
It's like, would I have wanted her? Yeah. Would I have wanted her as a companion? Obviously, she's lovely, but it's not hard. It's kind of hard to.
Well, we gotta remember, it was announced she would be the daughter of.
I think it's so
clear that she is Donna's daughter. So
I think it's so hilarious. I think it's hilarious when you have people saying it's transphobic that she's not in the show past the 60th. It's like, what? You don't know that.
Scheduling conflicts is transphobic.
But it's also like firstly, you don't know that she's not in the show anymore after the 60th. She could come as a recurring character. But secondly, it's also like it's transphobic to include a trans actress, but not enough. It's just so weird. You're already including a trans actress. Why is it transphobic? Whatever.
It's like my prediction. She'll be like Donna in that she shows up in the 60th. Maybe a series or two goes by, then she comes back for full companion.
But here's the thing, right?
Yeah, that's what I hope for.
Right? Even if her whole role is the 60th and that's it, that's not even an issue itself. She can still be a great character in the 60th, and that is totally fine.
Like. Everyone's blaming RTD for like what he said about the whole David shouldn't wear Jodie's costume.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Callum, thinking about it, she's going to be in 3 episodes, and they think that that's a problem. Well, you know who else appeared in 3 episodes? Bloody Colin from It's a Sin, and he's one of the most popular characters in that show.
Yeah, he's great.
What were you gonna say, Tim?
Right, as I was saying. The whole thing with RTD had like he was called transphobic and shit for everything about the whole not keeping Jodie's costume, but like he's cast the first mainline trans companion, and she's going to be in 3 episodes, and the 60th no less. Like that's huge. And even if she
it's transphobic, Ted. It's transphobic.
Even the rest of the show, that's still a huge leap.
Yeah.
So it's like.
How dare Russell T.
and like
Davies
this doesn't mean that
first ever Doctor Who trans character and not include her, even though I don't know how much she's in it.
Yeah, but it's also like it's not like this just means that there's never gonna be another trans actress as a companion ever after Yasmin Finney.
Only one.
Yeah, it's
They've
like
used their one.
Maybe Yasmin Finney is busy.
That was it. He's out.
Yeah, maybe she's busy, and then like next season they bring another trans actress, and it's another trans companion. What's this? Like this isn't like it isn't transphobic. It's scheduling conflicts. It is very simple.
Entirely possible that maybe like in a couple series from now they have another trans companion or like another trans side character. Like it's entirely possible. I don't know why everyone's hinging the entire trans.
Yeah, like because it's Russell. Yeah, a lot of people want to bash Russell.
Yeah, they think Yasmin Finney is the only trans actress in the whole of the world. I think there are quite a few. Don't worry.
I mean, have you seen them, Sky? Have you met them in person?
Not in person.
Just blame Heartstopper.
That goddamn show.
Allowing them to establish himself as the Doctor and also highlight the forward-looking direction of the new era. Then at the end of the year, you overload on all the nostalgia and have a big fanservice special celebrating the past. Instead, as it stands, by the time Gatwa takes over full-time, we'll have had 4 episodes in a row defined purely by nostalgic member berries. And that's frankly too many.
Shut up, you twat.
This is just dumb. There are 4 anniversary specials in different ways. One's the BBC's centenary and then the 360th. I don't care. This point is dumb. Are you gonna say something, Tim?
It's like genuinely, it makes more sense to do the 60th first because like if you do like a jump it on point, like for new fans and that, and then you do the 60th when no one's gonna have any idea what the fuck
that's actually a good point. Imagine you do one season of something very new and then you're like, no, actually let's remember everything of the past 60 years.
That will alienate the newer fans that you want to bring in. So
that's a very good point, Sid.
Like if you want to bring in more fans, you don't do that by just celebrating the past that they have no idea about.
Yeah, it's like celebrating the past in between 2 series that are not going to be about the past. It's just really weird.
Who is meant to be all about moving forward and look into the future. It's part of the show's very DNA. It shouldn't fall into playing the greatest hits and allowing the past to overshadow the present and the future.
Thankfully, it's not doing that. So anyway,
and since I touched upon Disney's nostalgia obsession, I think it's time to bring up Doctor Who's recently announced co-production deal with The Mouse.
I'm tired.
It's not co-production deal. That's a lie.
It's co.
Disney Plus should become new global home for upcoming seasons. Doctor Who outside the UK and Ireland. BBC continues as Doctor Who's exclusive home in the UK. New episodes will premiere. Okay, so yeah, even the article that he's showing, it's simply just it's distributing. There's a big difference actually. Like for example, the Netflix Marvel shows, they're ABC produced shows and Netflix distributed. And they were distributed by Netflix, and now Disney Plus obviously acquired the rights.
No, Netflix wrote them. Clearly,
the head of the Netflix CEO wrote the Marvel TV shows.
Doctor Who's recently announced co-production deal with The Mouse. Now, there are a few things to unpack here. First, let's talk about what we do know. It was officially announced that Disney's streaming service Disney Plus now has streaming and distribution rights for Doctor Who outside of the UK.
Yes.
This is great for international audiences and will hopefully allow the show and the brand to grow in other markets, especially America, which has proven it can make or break a show internationally. It has also been announced that Disney will be contributing to the show's budget going forward, allowing the show to improve in scope and scale. But there's always a price when you make a deal with The Mouse. It's not being confirmed by the BBC or Russell T Davies, but the Telegraph's Craig Simpson has reported that...
Hold on, I want to read the article. God damn it.
Or Russell T Davies, but the Telegraph...
Alright. Doctor Who should get American makeover as Disney takes on British classic. What? Technical laureates will give show vast budgets beyond the BBC's means. Oh, this title is so clickbaity because it's like American makeover. It's gonna become an American show. No, it's gonna get more money to produce it. That is so. There's not nearly the same thing.
To be fair, more money does equal more American.
That is a good point.
Craig Simpson has
more
reported
American
that
dollars.
The American corporation will have a say in creative decisions for Doctor Who under the terms of a co-production deal made with the BBC over its long-running sci-fi series. I would like to see this source for this. Showrunner RTD will retain the overall creative vision for the program, but it's understood the corporate might of Disney will give the show vast budgets beyond the BBC's means allowing for more cinematic production values and more stars. Charlotte Moore, BBC chief content officer, said, "We're thrilled to announce this exciting global partnership with Disney, a perfect partnership to bring this British TV show to the rest of the world. RTD's vision for Doctor Who has always been out of this world, and we are committed to ensuring that audiences across the globe get the opportunity to enjoy the Doctor's epic adventures with the scale and ambition that they deserve. Joining forces with Disney will elevate the show to even greater heights and reach new audiences, so it's an extremely exciting time for fans in the UK across the world." Oh, that it even says at the bottom, BBC to retain ultimate editorial control. So what's the issue? Wait, so isn't this contradicting it completely? BBC to retain ultimate editorial control, and then the first paragraph is the American corporation will have a say in creative decisions. These are contradictory.
And so far, the only say they seem to have is how it's edited in distribution, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, but that's like every distributor does that. Community as a show, Netflix distributed it like worldwide basically, and it removed one of the episodes in season 2 because it was too offensive because of blackface. That episode is removed and you can't watch it on Netflix. And it's the only place you watch it basically worldwide legally. But that's not like the episode isn't available in the Blu-rays and everything. Like the episode still exists, it's just distributing. So like this happens with any network distributing something. Like the show will still remain the same. If you want to watch the original episodes, if Disney made some changes, like you know how there were the Falcon and Winter Soldier changes that people were annoyed at, that were mandatory, and then it was because Disney forgot to turn on like the parental rights thing, parental control thing. But it was like this because those shows are produced by Disney. They in Disney Plus they can like censor their own things. But because this is produced by BBC, the show will still remain like its own thing. It's just sometimes Disney will be like, "Oh, we gotta like cut this line" or something like that. As well as like there's in episode 1 of Community, there's a line that's cut in Netflix that's not cut in the DVD and Blu-rays. It's like this happens. It's streaming That's how it is. How even like TV, when you're watching cable TV, basically their channels are pet. I think Neb mentioned it, how like if they're showing Kingsman, they always censor that last scene of the first film because it shows the woman's ass and vagina because what's his name?
Oh my god.
I forgot the character's name.
Eggsy,
yeah, he's a butch fucker. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a very common thing for distributors.
Even reruns of Only Fools and Horses on stuff like Gold get edited.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a thing that people really don't like about like cable things. But the good thing, I think the thing is, you said, Jeb, about like editing as well, is something that because Disney Plus now has the parental controls thing, like if it is censored, it's gonna be for like the ones that have parental controls turned on. So it's like for the Disney Plus Kids section basically. That where you can't watch the Marvel Netflix shows and Falcon and Winter Soldier is censored. I think it would be the same thing where it's like, oh, this line isn't going to be included in the section where kids only watch.
Yeah.
I very much doubt they're going to cut the episode up.
Okay, like this has nothing to do with like the whole censorship thing, but like it just made me remember how like a few years ago, like they were showing Deathly Hallows Part 1, and there's a line, like it was on ITV, I think. It was a line how like something tastes like goblin piss, and it was so badly edited to say it smells like goblin spit. It was like, it smells like goblin spit.
Yeah, these are things that just happen in terms of distributing, which is something that I don't like. It's part of why I think you should support physical media, because physical media exists beyond network restrictions, so episodes can be as long as they want, and episodes can include everything they want, including being unrated, which is great. Support physical media is the conclusion. Thank you for watching.
No, Davis still has full control as showrunner, and the BBC still retain the IP.
It is understood that Disney will have a creative input in the series and will also handle all distribution across outside the UK, meaning it will stream worldwide on Disney Plus. Expected budgets involved. So yeah, you just like, it is understood that Disney will have a creative input in the series. It's not explained what or why or where they got this information from, apparently.
He now does supposedly have some level of creative input. Sure, Davis won't have to do anything they suggest, but the financial contribution from Disney will potentially lead to a big problem going forward. A reminder that this...
Yeah, but that's part of why it's so good to have Russell T Davies, is that he can handle something like that. It's like a company being like, however, we're not going to give you as much money if you don't like follow our guidelines, basically. He's good at fighting against that. Which is why he was brought back, I feel.
Is now purely speculation and a worst case scenario, but there is a potential situation in which Disney pretend to happily bankroll Doctor Who with the friendly assurance that they don't want creative control after all. It's just your old pal Disney helping out with money problems. But then, that gives them financial leverage in negotiations. So after say a couple of years, they can use this investment to demand full creative control.
But if it's after a couple of years, firstly I feel like this just is not how it will happen. I feel like they know how big Doctor Who is and can be, and that restricting it in that way is not good. But I also feel like... What'd you say, Jeff?
I was going to say, this isn't just how it works at all.
Well, I was just going to say, like, if they did do this, if it is after a couple of years, like, by this point, RTD would have grown the show to be so famous that would, like, there will be other other companies that would want to distribute Doctor Who and be able to bank that without like getting those restrictions on RTD. Like, unless they did it like straight away. But if they did it straight away, I don't think RTD would like have agreed to it.
Yeah, like RTD's not going to trust Disney to go, hey, we'll give you money and you owe us nothing. Like, he ain't stupid.
Yeah.
He's worked with dodgy companies before.
Because if they get denied, they can just threaten to back out entirely, leaving Bad Wolf and the BBC with a show they can't afford to make.
What?
They would... Okay, this is... Okay, they would still... They would just change the budget for the season after all that happened, if that was the case, I guess. But they would find other other companies that would distribute it. As I said, like, do you think Amazon or HBO Max, like, do you think these companies don't want Doctor Who? Like they do, especially if it does grow to be so big. And Netflix as well would be a big one, especially because of Ncuti Gatwa. Like having Ncuti Gatwa things in the same place would be very good for them. I don't know, man. And also, if they grow big enough to a point where Bad Wolf and BBC can finance themselves a show that is of a higher budget, that is like very good. That could be very good, and then just sell streaming rights to like HBO and Prime Video and everything to like be able to finance and keep people watching overseas. I don't know. I think that it would still be fairly easy for them to continue making the show even if something like that happened. I feel like it's just really weird to say that Disney has all the leverage because Doctor Who is a big show. There's a reason why they bought the distribution rights.
To be frank, Harbo, you shouldn't be speculating on things you have nothing of knowledge about because it's pointless.
Yeah, he even said this is just speculation, so I don't really see the point of this. So let me speculate about Disney blackmailing RTD, because why not?
And the BBC already struggles with its funding because of how much they're being squeezed by the UK government. So some executives might gladly accept a flat fee offer for the show's rights if Disney decides to open its massive wallet.
I'm telling you this now. Doctor Who will never be sold.
I was gonna say, I very much doubt the BBC would ever sell Doctor Who. It is way too big of an IP to just let go of.
It makes too much profit.
Yeah.
That's why they've never sold it before.
The corporation has already shown its greed and hunger for a media monopoly time and time again, so I see no reason why Disney wouldn't want to gain control of one of the biggest media institutions of Britain.
You just said it's one of the biggest media institutions of Britain. There's a reason why the BBC wouldn't sell it. You just explained why the BBC wouldn't sell it. Can we please?
This co-production feels like making a deal with the devil, because of how easily Disney could exploit the partnership and turn it against the BBC for their own gain. I'm not a financial expert, I can't even do basic maths half the time, but Disney might even be able to sidestep the BBC entirely by potentially buying Bad Wolf from Sony, thus...
What?
If you're not...
What?
You can't even do basic math and you're trying to do this. Leave.
Wait, you're trying to tell me that they would buy Bad Wolf from Sony to own Doctor Who? Isn't the IP of Doctor Who owned by BBC? Bad Wolf is just co-producing.
Yes. There is no sharing of the IP in an ownership sense.
So the idea would be, I guess, that if they buy Bad Wolf, they would at least have more of a say in the production? I guess?
Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Essentially buying Bad Wolf from Sony, thus making Russell T Davies a Disney employee, allowing them to essentially hijack creative control if they wanted to do so. We can't overlook the fact that Disney splashed out a...
not continue this at all? My brain is turning into sludge.
Look, we have 2 minutes left, Jeb. Connor died already. Callum has stopped. I imagine he's passed out from being so drunk.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Good.
How are we all processing this stupidity?
I have no... Totally... He's just saying things. I'm very confused.
I mean, I'm almost done on my 5th drink.
That's a good way.
I don't know how I survived this the first time. It was just stupid the first time. Now it's even worse.
This is actually the most alcohol I've probably had in one night. So
really?
I've broken my... Yeah, I don't drink that often, and I've never been like full out drunk ever.
Really?
Most I've been is tipsy, and I guess I'm a bit tipsy now.
Yeah.
Like last night, I had 4 pints of Guinness and then 2 double whiskies and Coke.
Jesus, man.
And that was me being casual.
Well, good for you twat.
$71 billion to buy Fox, granting them the full rights to shows like The Simpsons and It's Always Sunny, movies like 28 Days Later, and franchises like Ice Age. It's
weird to cite those. Hey, there's so many other things they could cite. That was really weird.
Just that just felt like he randomly named random franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird to say Ice Age when they freaking bankrupted or basically destroyed Blue Sky.
Yeah, that's also true. I'm confused of his choices. Because Fox has some like household names.
X-Men.
Yeah, X-Men is probably the biggest one. It's weird, but alright.
Even some far-fetched conspiracy theory to say Disney wants to control the world's media landscape. And something like Doctor Who is actually pretty small fry for the conglomerate. And to be honest...
You just said it's the biggest media... household name. I don't remember exactly what you said, but it's like big in Britain. That's what you said. And my brain is dying. I forgot exactly what he said. But you just said that. So why... You know that it is that big, so obviously... It is big fry for Disney.
A show like Doctor Who is perfect for what Disney want to do, which is appeal to children, adults, and man-children at the exact same time.
So that's why they will continue to fund it, but they will never own it. Thank you.
I am that man.
There are multiple ways for Disney to worm their way into gaining greater control over the property.
Stop. Please stop. This is sounding so much like a conspiracy theory on Twitter. I'm fucking... this guy, like Elon Musk fan, like they're trying to control us. They're gonna buy everything.
Trying to put stuff in the water to turn friggin' Doctor Who American.
Are you owned by the CIA?
It's so that is actually funny because people say Disney has a gay agenda, but the show would be way less progressive if Disney was actually producing it. I think that's hilarious. But anyway.
Because that door has been opened now, and in the shadows, the mouse is lurking, waiting to strike.
Shut the fuck up, you stupid cunt.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Okay, sorry. Few things that are funny about this.
The mouse is...
the photo he put of Mickey Mouse, the right ear is cut in half. I think that's fucking hilarious. But this is also the most melodramatic thing. The mouse lurking in the shadows, but it's poorly edited. And then it's just a fucking happy image of Mickey Mouse. It's so... I'm sorry, it's so stupid.
Look, now I'm just picturing Mickey Mouse delivering the Batman monologue like they think I am. They think I'm hiding in the shadows. I am the shadow.
Oh, we need someone who can do a very good Mickey Mouse impression. Just do the Batman monologue. That would be amazing. Shit, I need that.
You believe?
But yeah, Colin, you were saying something.
Look, Sky, listen, Sky. Editing is very fucking hard. Alright? So
it is very hard. I have no idea how he managed to clip the ear. It seems kind of impossible. You just put it behind. I'm confused. I don't know, man.
Just get what I would do, right, is just have this image, but I would have a full screen image of like Mickey Mouse and just have it like it is, like slightly faded, but not too much. I wouldn't just have it in a random like corner like he has. This just seems like it
is weird. Jeb, what did you think about when John Sim came back in Series 10?
I couldn't.
Of what?
Jeb, what did you think about when John Sim came back in Series 10? Question from chat.
I was very happy with it. I didn't want it spoiled though by shitty marketing.
I've come back at a good time.
Yeah.
His return was a lot better than an End of Time, thankfully.
Yeah. I think I really like John Sim's performance in Series 10, but I wouldn't say his characterization was bad in any way. But I do think that Moffat is inferior to RTD running the Master in Series 3. That'd be my take on it.
Well, I think it's hard to get to the level of Series 3.
Also, I think Sim is great in End of Time Part 2. Specifically,
well, I think he's great in both parts. I just think the part 1 is really over the top.
Like what I mean is like in like the actual moments where you see the Master's character and how that's been affected by, the sort of life he's had. I think Sim does a fantastic job.
Oh no, he's phenomenal at showing a lot of the trauma he's experienced, especially with the drums in his head getting louder and louder.
Yeah. I love the. I love the bit in. I also really like the sort of the ending that RTD does, where he's like, "Get out of the way."
You did this to me.
Yeah.
All my life.
You made me. Waiting to strike. I know how negative this video probably came across.
Also, sorry to interrupt, but is there anything that I missed?
No, I would rather save you the pain, Connor, and say that you didn't miss anything. If you want to know what you missed, basically he's saying that Disney's planning a coup to buy Doctor Who off of BBC because he wants to control the media of the world.
And also that Mickey Mouse is Batman.
Yeah, that is another thing you missed. Mickey Mouse is indeed Batman.
Right.
Okay. I do. That defines me.
Oh, good.
Okay, Jeb.
I think so anyway, just to finish off, there was one thing I forgot to say. I don't have a problem with John Simmons Series 10, but what I do have a problem with is when you get those people that say that he was shit in the RTD era and then he was only good in Series 10. Mm. That's the take that I dislike.
Yeah, I think it's
those people are stupid.
I think he's way more stripped back in Series 10, but I don't think he's bad in any way.
I hope all those people accidentally piss themselves.
Well, the reason why they like him in Series 10 is because he's more like Delgado, but I think the idea of having all the Masters be the same is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
But the same idea as having all the Doctors be the same is
when people say that the Master in Series 3 is very out of character for the Master, I think that's a really stupid statement.
and also this is the during the classic years, people gave this shit to Anthony Ainley as well. They're like, oh, he's not like Delgado. It's like, yeah, I know, but he's not supposed to be. He's a different Master.
Mm.
But I really didn't mean it to be. I don't want.
Why did he put Fall Guys when he said this video may sound very negative, but I didn't mean it should be? Like, what's the point?
I know how negative this video probably came across, but I really didn't mean it to be.
I agree, David Tennant Fall Guys photo. I don't... What's the point? I'm so confused. What is this?
Sky, listen. Editing is very hard.
She's just like, I don't know, but I ran out of 10th Doctor pictures. Let's get the Fall Guys on. I don't... What?
I don't want Doctor Who to fail. I want it to succeed and last for countless more years. I want the second Russell T Davies era to do well. Just because I don't like these...
It's going to do well, and it will be successful, and most likely it will carry on beyond that because it's successful.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bold statement for me to say, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean I want to be vindicated as it crashes and burns. I would love to be proven wrong to doubt Davis, but right now I can't help but feel a gut feeling that the show's long-term prospects might suffer from all this nostalgic focus and reliance on familiar faces like Davis and Tennant. I really hope that Davis understands this risk and has accounted for these potential issues by weaving enough forward...
Yeah, I hope that Davies has counted for the reality of what he's writing. It's a very strange thing to say that, to question whether or not Russell T Davies has thought this through.
Yeah, the guy who always likes to think about all the implications of his writing and everything. To think how
the point where he's so meticulous with his writing that he had a mental breakdown and left the show.
Yeah, a lot of what Neb has shared from the writer's tale, I'm like, man, this is like really impressively like thinking ahead and preparation for like. Or just like thinking things through, maybe not thinking ahead, but thinking it through, like understanding that what he wrote needs to be paid off and finding a way to do it. Like with the hand being paid off in Journey's End.
Mm-hmm. Forward-facing stuff into his 60th anniversary specials, because Gatwa's success relies almost directly on his incarnation being given a strong platform to succeed. It's already obvious that Tennant's return will cause a huge influx of viewers. The biggest challenge is keeping them when he's gone, and with the way the era seems to be setting itself up, I'm not entirely confident that
You have no idea what you're doing for this era. Literally zero. You're just making shit up. You have absolutely zero clue what you're saying. Anyway.
Happen. But like I said, I hope I'm wrong and that the era is a massive success, paving the way for future showrunners to reap the rewards and keep the show...
That's actually funny.
Okay, that was a funny joke.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was really funny.
That was the best bit of editing. That was the best bit of editing and subtlety he's done all video.
Yes, yeah. It honestly wouldn't surprise me if that was a genuine like gag where Stephen Moffat wore a disguise like that and he said, "I am even Stoffet. I am
even Stoffet.
I am even Stoffet."
Yes, I'm gonna be writing episodes like I don't know, like Wink. And,
Wink.
Yeah. And
loud in the museum.
The museum.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And the boy in the furnace.
Boy in the furnace.
The
Doctor story where the Doctor talks to like a king, but it's through a fucking furnace.
I can't wait. I can't wait for. I'm looking forward to.
Also, in Even Stoffart's era, he's going to be using a 24-hour clock, so it's going to be the 23rd hour.
The 23rd hour.
I'm looking forward to like his final episode, like the Doctor trips.
The Doctor trips.
It's basically set up from the next Doctor where it says, "Oh, I'll trip over a brick."
Oh man, I'm glad we got this out of your video.
He's also gonna introduce a new companion in an episode called The Passenger.
The Passenger. Hell sent and heaven bent.
The stewardess.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure Stephen Moffat likes a good stewardess, but anyway.
Anyway. Alive and thriving for decades to come. So, thank you for watching. Even if you do hate,
you're not welcome.
He said, "Come."
me for this video. Hopefully, you can prefer my usually more positive ones. And see you next time.
Yeah.
We will not probably. I don't really like her.
No,
videos
it's not about being positive. I don't care about you being positive or negative. I just care about your arguments.
Yeah, it's like a
your arguments in this video.
Yeah.
The arguments in this video were the arguments in this video were a bunch of unnecessary overthinking and lack of optimism based on the very positive things we know about what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
yeah,
that was a video, and
so I hope Callum, I hope you're enjoying your birthday.
Yeah, I hope Harbo made your birthday very special.
Very fun.
Oh shit!
It was
like proper special, like me nan.
Sure. So, people watching, I think we're done with ECUM. I'm not sure. Is your stream gonna finish now, Colin? Are you gonna keep going?
I'm still.
Are you gonna keep going? All right. I think there's a way to like send people to your stream. I will try to find.
Or you can just link it.
I can, but there's a way to actually like how on Twitch you can like host.
Oh, rating.
It's called redirect on here apparently. Right? Is that it? Redirect allows you to keep viewers engaged across multiple events. A live stream or premiere to watch after your results. Yeah.
I mean, there's a thing on Twitch called raiding, which is
that's what it is.
Stream ends.
Yeah, you can like host channels and people call it raiding, but yeah, that's how it works on Twitch and this YouTube has it. But I think you have to have it turned on. So if you don't, Colin, I'm afraid you.
I probably don't.
Redirect.
Just go to just go to the Editron channel.
I would just link it on chat. But yeah, it does have a rate function. So people are asking in chat. Here, just go watch Column as the stream goes on. Because we here on ECUM, we're gonna end here now. I did mention we might cover another video, but we spent like 3 hours on this one, and I have
we still need to do the second half of that one we didn't finish on the anniversary stream.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a thing.
That Welsh guy that was just like, in 2018, Chris Chibnall thought it'd be a good idea to cast a female doctor.
Yeah, that video that was just like saying things. It was very worthwhile, but we do need to finish it.
And he thought that it would be good to have more historicals to educate the audience about things they didn't know.
But yeah, people, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our stream. Talking about David Tennant as a 14th Doctor, celebrating Colum's birthday, and Connor was also here. And we'll catch y'all next time. Probably not next week though, because busy. But maybe if I finish editing the She-Hulk video by next week, maybe, who knows? So anyway, we'll catch y'all next time, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.